I got money on my phone and money on me. I got all these hoes, but still lonely. They been blowing on that strong, but still so weak. I've been high in a drone, but still low-key. We been sitting on the floor, they in the nosebleeds. Lately I've been in control, they can't control me. Yeah, they about to get exposed for being so cheap. I've been sticking to the code and I ain't gon' cheat. Yo, grew my hair and took the grill out. Think it's time to put it back in. Trying to get into that big house, turn the crib into the mansion. Needed something with that big bounce. You know I had to hit Jackson. Aaron Rodgers with the quick routes. I'm with the gang, we packing. We on the field that Lambo. Might peel in a Lambo. Running drills in my camo. They know what the M stand for. Still got fam in Hawaii, yeah. Couple fans in the lobby, yeah. Couple grand in my pocket, yeah. Couple grams of wasabi, yeah. Eye it up, no glasses. Light it up, no matches. Wife it up, no ratchets. Might turn my wife to an actress. And we gon' make a movie, no Kim K. Give a fuck about what your friends say. I got money on my phone and money on me. I got all these hoes, but still lonely. They been blowing on that strong, but still so weak. I've been high in a drone, but still low-key. We been sitting on the floor, they in the nosebleeds. Lately I've been in control, they can't control me. Yeah, they about to get exposed for being so cheap. I've been sticking to the code and I ain't gon' cheat.
I'm just sticking to the code, I keep it so G. She asked me what I smoke, I'm smoking OG. I don't fuck with too many, only catch me 4 deep. Gotta stay away from snakes, swear these people so creep. I've been grinding for a minute, many labels so sleep. These rappers drop a song, be hot for about a week. I put Gucci on my toes, I keep some cold feet. I ain't paying for no hoe, you niggas know me. I'm about to body the beat. I keep me a hottie with me. She wanna for a fee. Give me that for free. Keep me some money on me. Smoking the gas, keep. You with me, sheesh. But need OG keep.
I got money on my phone and money on me. I got all these hoes, but still lonely. They been blowing on that strong, but still so weak. I've been high in a drone, but still low-key. We been sitting on the floor, they in the nosebleeds. Lately I've been in control, they can't control me. Yeah, they about to get exposed for being so cheap. I've been sticking to the code and I ain't gon' cheat.
Yeah, head up in the clouds, though they saying I look stressed. I've been feeling down, pray to God that I'm up next. Remember when she blew me off, that's why I can't text. Now she call me petty, but I swear I can't forget. This ain't a test, now they saying that I ball like Jerry West. Coming back for what is mine, can't take no less. I said go and take a shot, so I need your best. And stop the threats, so nobody's into me. I don't got time, I'm not giving the energy. Too many people around me, I'm finicky. I do not mess with you, dog, you're not kidding me. You don't got way too close. I've been up at the top now, so they all wait for the landslide. I seen too many people that switched up, whose man's high. Through it all, I stay the same, I swear to God, I can't lie. Been down so damn low that I came up for my life. They talk way too much on the internet, it's not real life. I swear my fam waiting, I can't lose, and I'm still right. Still right, I swear that I'm working them up till like midnight. It's real life, I got a time and I'm coming to get mine. In time, I cannot lose and I'm coming right inside. I'm in mine, yeah. Phone started jumping, what a day. Swear to God I need it, now I can't afford to wait. I just had a fan hit me up from Kuwait. Told him this would happen and we not a minute late. Seen them down bad, now they tryna hate. Same ones try to hit me for the raise. Got a meal, now they coming with a blaze. Check the numbers, fam, I swear I'm getting paid. I'm a Don just like the Perrier. It's one time when I'm looking at a face. On the low like I'm pushing up gate. Got a check and I bought myself a place. They get some money and they blow it on bait. I don't flex, but I'm pushing all the weight. Told them all, I swear I got it's what it takes. Phone started jumping, what a day. Swear to God I need it now, I can't afford to wait. I just had a fan hit me up from Kuwait. Told him this would happen and we not a minute late.
Here we go, at the top of the class on a roll. And it's time to run it up, yeah, you know. Maxed out, put the pedal to the floor. Ayy, on the road, here we go. Yeah, we winning by a landslide. Never see me coming on my landmine. Yeah, I ain't taking orders in command like. Yeah, you about to see me on demand like. You know on demand. If you ain't know, you about to understand. Yeah, I got the team by my side, right hand. Yeah, take it to a string, you ain't seen it like that. Yeah, and it's the dream, and we coming for the bag. Yeah, and we ain't never going back now. Future expedited, now we on the fast track now. They won't lend a hand, now they see us on the map now. It's time to act out. Here we go, at the top of the class on a roll. And it's time to run it up, yeah, you know. Maxed out, put the pedal to the floor. Ayy, on the road, here we go. Yeah, at the top of the class on a roll. Ayy, and it's time to run it up, yeah, you know. Yeah, maxed out, put the pedal to the floor. Yeah, on the road, here we go. Here we go, at the top of the class on a roll. And it's time to run it up, yeah, you know. Maxed out, put the pedal to the floor. Ayy, on the road, here we go. Yeah, at the top of the class on a roll. Ayy, and it's time to run it up, yeah, you know. Yeah, maxed out, put the pedal to the floor. Yeah, on the road, here we go. Here we go. On the road, here we go.
What is going on, everybody? Welcome back to the Frankie Candles live stream every single weekday right here at 5:45 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And Mafia, oh God, what is tomorrow going to bring, guys? We got the crypto summit tomorrow, and probably a lot of volatility incoming, I would think, with a big event like this coming up. Are we going to pump? Are we going to get an absolute nuke to the downside? I'm going to break down the charts for you guys. We have some new levels to show, and I'm going to talk about what I'm expecting next year on Bitcoin. It's, yeah, we'll see. We got some money flow coming up. Yesterday, we got the pump to the upside. We did get a rejection at our key level that we looked at yesterday, which was the 786 value area low. We came right up to that level. Of course, it happened at like 1 a.m. But we did come up in there. We had some bearish confirmations. We're getting the dip down. We're getting a little bit of a bounce now. But I'm going to give you guys my main scenarios that I'm looking at for Bitcoin, whether we get the drop to the downside or a push to the upside. We'll talk about the doorways to higher prices and the levels that we need to flip. I have a new volume profile, kind of a new volume profile that I want to talk about, which could be a new doorway to higher prices. But we're going to break it all down for you and give you my best prediction, right? My personal prediction on what is going to happen next year on Bitcoin so we can make some money trading this thing, whether it goes up or down. That is the beauty of being a trader here in the Candle Mafia. It doesn't matter if we get the Trump dump or the Trump pump. We're going to be making some money. So shout out to the Candle Mafia. Thank you guys for tuning in. We got Gen Z in the chat shouting out Jay Violet and Jesse. Shout out to both of them as well. Welcome in, guys. We got Jesse. We got Simano in the chat. Said, of course, it will pump, but then dump before a pump. Shout out to Simano. It's going to go up. It's going to go down. That's the one prediction I can say is going to be 100% guarantee. It's going to go up. It's going to go down, and it might even go sideways. But yeah, shout out to Simano. Welcome in. We got Rob the Crypto Snob, Darren Does Things, Crypto Billy, Crypto Anon, Chemistry Bro, Tyler Durden. You guys know who the mods are. Dave Digital. Show him some love in the chat, guys. Let's see. Bada boom, bada bing. We got all set in the chat. What is going on? We got Nirvana. Welcome in. Lars said, got a schlong for the summit. Shout out to Lars. That is a cushy position to be in. Let's see. Bada boom, bada bing. Let's see who else we got. We got CJ in the chat. Stupid Bitcoin. Welcome in, bro. Erica K. Diggity. What is going on, K. Diggity? Phoebe says hi. But welcome in. Smokey says NPOC. Oh, God. We got a lot of NPOCs, guys. And I actually did update some of those NPOCs because, as you know, we have a ton of those levels above us. I actually did find some more significant daily naked points of controls to kind of clean up that clutter above us. And some of those NPOCs are coming in confluence with our key levels. So I want to break all that down for you guys today. So shout out to everybody in the chat. Smash that like button if you have not already. And shout out to everybody dropping the gold. Oh, Golden with the 50 Frankie Candles memberships. I was like, yo, everybody shouting out Golden. I didn't even realize he did that, but shout out to Golden before the chat or before the stream even starts. Golden is out here giving away those 50 Frankie Candles memberships. Shout out to Golden. Thank you so much. We appreciate you, and I know the Mafia does as well. Look at all those green names popping into the chat. We're pumped today, guys. So without further ado, show Golden some love. Start that Golden waterfall. Drop that new emoji if you just got it. And if you just got a membership and you didn't ever have one, welcome to the Candle Mafia. And without further ado, let's go ahead and jump on into the chart. Drop those golden emojis in the chat. Let's get into it. So here we are, guys. Oh, God. What are we going to see here, guys? We are definitely 100% in a very, 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 very interesting situation with the Crypto Summit tomorrow. And I know a lot of people are expecting a massive pump. And although that is definitely, I'll be honest with you guys. I'm going to show you my main kind of scenarios that I'm looking at to play out and what I'm going to look to capitalize on. But I'll be honest with you guys. It's really, really hard to just call a move up or down when we have this news tomorrow. It could be pump into the news, pump in with the rumor, right, and then sell the actual event. We could wind up dumping beforehand and then getting a big rip to the upside. Obviously, we have to be prepared for all scenarios. But again, I'm going to show you guys my main scenarios and what I'm looking for, whether we get the pump or the dump. And I'm going to show you how we're going to try to capitalize on these moves and make some money, whether we pump or dump. And Bitcoin getting a little push up here. But let's go ahead. I want to start off first here. Let me make sure I'm on the right chart here because I did make a new chart here, but I do want to pull up the older chart just because, this is what we've been looking at. It's going to be more familiar to everybody, and the levels didn't really change too much. Now, yesterday, you guys will know that we were looking. Let me hide some of the local levels real quick. Obviously, we have our macro range above us. And yesterday, guys, we were tapping up in here, right? We were looking on the live stream as we were getting this little push to the upside. I was talking about how I was very, 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 very tempted to look for a short as we were tapping into this golden pocket. Now, I decided not to take that position because the way the charts were looking, it did look like as we were rejecting this golden pocket, number one, right, the reason we were looking at this level was, well, hey, right, we got the bigger rejection off of our larger golden pocket 786 retracement, off that little news that we got the pump into this anchored VWAP / Fibonacci retracement. This was our first major level that we were looking at for a lower high. We did get that rejection. We were talking about how I didn't really love the look of this yesterday as we did reject that level where we know there could be a higher probability of a lower high coming in, and that would very likely be a cause for concern to get a bigger dump to the downside, potentially coming and taking out these lows at about $78,000, which is going to be one of the main scenarios that I am watching for in case we do get the dump. And, last night, as we were tapping into the golden pocket, I was saying, it is somewhat tempting to look for a short here. And I did not take that position, right? Because as we were coming up in here, it did look like we could go for that 786. And as you know, this was the big key level that we were looking at yesterday because we have the 786 Fibonacci retracement. We also had the value area low of the range, giving us that nice confluent area of resistance. And this was our local golden pocket 786 retracement. Let me actually hide some of this so we can look at this a little bit more neatly. Pulled from that last lower high to the low, right? That gives us this local golden pocket 786 retracement, which becomes the first, next local place where we would look for a rejection. What happens, right? We push into the golden pocket. Once you get above that golden pocket, you're going to be anticipating that 786, and that is exactly what we wound up seeing happen. Now, obviously, this did happen really, really early in the morning, so unfortunately, it was not on the charts as we came up here, but we did come up to this level with some bearish confirmation, right? We actually did wind up getting some bearish divergences here. I'll just mark them out to show you guys kind of what happened here, right? Higher highs on our price action into that key level of resistance. And again, not only on the charts was it looking like we could go for that 786, but this is that full retracement, right? And once you break above that golden pocket, you're going to be anticipating that 786 to come in. So I typically, not that I never long or short on a golden pocket, but typically if you go for that full 786, this is a little bit of a better area, in my opinion, to look for that short, especially because it has confluence on that other key level, which is that value area low. We came up, we put in the bearish divergences, and then we wound up getting the drop back to the downside, which is not really what we wanted to see. But, I'm going to break down we're kind of on the lower time frames here, but I'm going to break down the local levels and kind kind of what I'm looking for here. Key level to the upside, guys, still does remain, obviously, the 786 value area low, right? Like, again, why is this so important? Well, because, if we were going to break above this 786, this would make us anticipate, this was probably not going to be a lower high, and we would have a much better opportunity to get a push deeper into this range up to our next major Fibonacci retracement / key level of resistance, which is sitting here at the macro POC, sitting at $96,700, just about $96,630. And this is also, this is also confluent with our golden pocket retracement, right? You have the golden pocket, you have your anchored VWAP flying through here, and that macro POC. If we are able to get a move up into, actually, let me get rid of both of those. If we are able to get a move back above this value area low, right? Because again, not only would the 786 invalidate the lower high, expecting more upside, but you're at the same time trying to flip that value area low to support, which could open up the door to get that move into the POC. Now, we do have some local resistance up here as well, which we definitely have to be aware of in case we are just going to continue, right? Like I said, if this is another lower high, we could potentially anticipate the more bearish scenario to play out, where we come take these lows sooner than later. And again, we are going to have an opportunity to maybe look for some new trades down here, depending on what the charts look like. Tomorrow is probably going to be pretty crazy, guys, with the news. I would expect at least some kind of volatility. If we don't get it, then whatever. But you do have to be prepared, right? Like this, a lot of people are going to be trading this. And the meeting, I believe, is from like 1:30 to 5:30. So pretty much all day tomorrow might be a crazy chop fest, or maybe we just get an instant Lambo candle or a Darth Maul candle to the downside. But be careful out there if you're out there trading, guys. Just be careful out there on these big news days. And this is arguably the biggest news event, or biggest kind of news that we've had in crypto, if not ever, in quite a long time. So. And we just want to make sure that we're not going to get something like this, where you get the bullish news and then they just dump it on us. Are they manipulating this price action, guys? Are they just kind of like, hey, let's send this up and just wreck everybody? Send it up again, wreck everybody. I am ready for that. But key level of resistance, guys, still going to be that 786. We came up, we rejected it as we were looking at yesterday. If we were, for some reason, able to wiggle our way back up here, flip that value area low 786, I will be looking for the next major target at $96,630, right? And again, there's a little bit of a, depending on exactly where I line this up, right? Like 96.6, 96.650. But again, this is a zone, right? You have your anchored VWAP coming up here at about 97K, and then you have the golden pocket sitting at 97.7. And then just understand, guys, right above this wick here, we've been talking about this for a while, there is a lot of liquidity above here. So once we get up there, right, obviously, just like we were saying, hey, could get that big rejection from this resistance zone here, as it's the 786 value area low. If we come up here, this is going to be another area where we will be looking for shorts in the premium. However, if we start wiggling up above this golden pocket and start taking out this liquidity, that could give us a little bit of fuel to push up to that 786. And then this is really that big macro level, as it is our golden pocket 786 retracement from the all-time high all the way to this low here at 78K. This is really the level you want to get above if you want to see new all-time highs for Bitcoin. But is it going to happen like this? I almost think that's a little bit too predictable in my opinion. And not oftentimes is the most predictable scenario the one that happens. Usually it's the least predictable one. But just to kind of give you guys an idea of what we could expect here if we get above that value area low, we could see that move up. And again, there are local levels of resistance, which I'm going to bring up right now. But that's kind of the overall thought process, right? We're just simply sitting below our macro volume profile as we kind of bing bong around here. If we flip that value area low, technically the next likely place for price to go is that POC, as long as we don't reject more of this local resistance. But major levels, this is what I'm looking at. As far as the higher time frames. Now, if we come up to the daily here, right, money flow still in the red here, right, still coming out into the red, which is kind of what gave us that anticipation that we could even continue to the downside in the first place. So money flow still in the red on the daily. We tried to print a red dot, and then we got support on the 0 line. So this is a little bit chopped up at the moment. But I will say this, guys, if we did come down, and this is kind of one thing that I'm really paying attention to, are we going to come down and sweep this liquidity below $78,000? And I do think this is definitely something that's in the cards, because if we pull up, let me see if I can pull up these liquidation heat maps really quickly. Bada boom, where we at? Let me just give a little refresher here, make sure it's all up to date. Come on, internet, let's go. Take a sip of that black coffee. All right, let me go ahead and bring this up. Come on, stop lagging. There we go. So yeah, we do still have that liquidity sitting down here. We've been looking at this for quite some time. $78,150 right below this wick. We do have all that liquidity still sitting here, and it is a significant amount of liquidity, guys. When the first attempt that we came down here, we only took a little bit of it. So this does still live down here, and at the end of the day, guys, like I've been saying, I've been waiting for those bigger levels for the longer term swing trades. We have a lot of liquidity. Again, we just talked about this above this wick right here at about 99, call it like 99.5. That is where all that liquidity liquidity running in and past $100,000 into our value area high sit. So like the big levels of liquidity start at about 99.5, and then to the downside, it starts just below this wick here at about 78,000. $464. So you want to, like, those are the big levels, right? If we came up here and we got some short confirmations, we could just sweep the liquidity and send it. If we come down, I will be looking for the opposite, which hopefully, you know, it's almost like this would be the better scenario in my opinion, right? Because if we come down, sweep this liquidity, we could at least look for longs. And, you know, if we do come down and sweep the rest of that liquidity, and I will bring up the lower support levels because we have all of this marked out on the chart as we have been looking at it for quite some time, right? So you can see I have this liquidation box starting right at this wick, and this liquidity does lead us right into the 786 Fibonacci retracement, which also has some confluence here with a weekly naked point of control. And I do believe we also have a, is it a daily? No, weekly. No, this is actually pulled to the structural highs from the seven-month range, right? So we do have this zone down here. And, you know, the question is, are we going to get the dump? And I'm going to, again, come lower time frame here and show you the actual volume profile that I'm watching. But, you know, if we do get the bigger drop to the downside, we start nuking overnight. Oh my God, we're getting the big dump. Maybe it happens tomorrow during New York Open. I will be looking to come and sweep this liquidity. This is like the bearish first situation, right? We get the bigger drop down, and I'm going to show you why this could be in the cards. But come down, sweep this liquidity, knock out all these people that were left down here, and then hopefully we can get some kind of bullish confirmations here. And, you know, this is going to be another area where I'm looking for big long positions. I'm not guaranteeing that we can launch off into new all-time highs, but at the end of the day, you know, most of the liquidity is sitting down here, and then the rest of it is sitting up here. So biggest level of support on the higher time frames, $76,000 at the 786, down to the weekly naked point of control at about 75K. And remember, once you start breaking in this liquidity, you could see one of those very fast and scary liquidation wicks into these key levels, very similar to what we looked at on Ethereum, looking for that liquidity to get taken, reclaim those key levels, and then send it back to the upside. This is the situation that I'm looking at. Come down, sweep the liquidity, and then look for those long confirmations to send it back up. And again, it has everything to do with all those liquidations, right? That's where that liquidity is sitting. And then the upper liquidity is obviously sitting above about $100,000. And then again, that would give us, you know, just like this would give us a sweep of liquidity into key support, right? For a potential bounce. If we get the move back into this range, which again, the doorway to higher prices, in my opinion, I'm going to show you a new volume profile that I'm looking at, which is essentially just this volume profile extended to the right. You know, we could reclaim this value area low and then go for the upper liquidity first. At this moment, I'm kind of playing it level to level, to be quite honest, guys. Now, if we jump down to the low time frames here, pull up the local levels, I'm going to come down here, and we'll take a look at what we got going on here, right? So these are the levels that we looked at yesterday. This is a previous volume profile sitting down here. We got the huge deviation above the high, back in, got accepted into the range, back to the POC, back down to the value area low, where we had some nice bullish confirmations for a bounce back to the upside, and then we did this yesterday, and now we're just getting that rejection from that golden pocket 786 retracement. So this range is sitting down here, guys, but another way that you could potentially look at this is going to be this range right here, right? I just extended this over this entire area of price action, and you can see here, this is actually pretty interesting, and I'm going to show you the new macro volume profile as well. But on top of looking at the previous range that I just showed, I'm also going to be looking at this profile here. If you want to get this on your chart, this one is pulled from about, it's pulled from this high right here at about Monday, February 24th. All the way to the current price action. And again, you can see this profile is pretty nice, right? You get a back above the high, back into the value area, or back above the low, back into the value area high, deviation, back into the range, back to the POC, back to the low, deviation below, back to the POC, back to the high. And then you could see here, as we were rejecting that, let me just hide this real quick. As we were rejecting that 786 Fibonacci retracement that we were talking about, you know, that is coming in right at the deviation on the value area high. So this is beautiful for context, right? Because this is where we're looking for shorts. And I think I don't know if they were, questioning why I would short up here. Which, by the way, this happened at 1 o'clock in the morning. I did not short this. I would have if it was on the charts. But a lot of people are like, well, imagine shorting this, right? Well, at the end of the day, right? Like this is, and again, I don't know if that person was throwing shade or I don't know what the case was. Maybe not, but. Okay. Okay. There's a ghost in here, guys. At this point, right, you're not only coming into the 786 Fibonacci retracement, but you're also deviating above that value area high, right? And that's where we're going to be looking for those short positions, where you did not only get the larger 15-minute bearish divergences and the 30-minute bearish divergences into that key level of resistance for a return back into the range, back to the POC. And we were losing this POC before. I want to talk about this because we are in a little bit of a sketchy situation. But, even if you come in lower time frame, come on down to the, say, the 5 minutes, something like this, right? You can see we're even getting those bearish confirmations as we were deviated above. Remember, guys, the way we trade here is simply trading the extremities of the volume profile. This is the overvalued asset. This is the undervalued asset. We look for longs down here. We look for shorts up here. And it plays out, more often than not, it plays out in a beautiful way. Now, again, we weren't looking at this actual volume profile at this time back here, but when you could find these ranges, they are oftentimes very continuously respected. So, this one is value area high sitting at 91.8, POC sitting at 89.491. And then that value area low is sitting at 83,538. So this is a kind of the local context that I'm looking at. If we're now back in this range, right? We deviated above, got stuck back in here, went to the POC, and we started losing it. And now we're kind of just bing-bonging on the POC. But remember, guys, the POC oftentimes, let me get rid of this golden pocket. The POC oftentimes act as a magnet for price, right? Like sometimes, for the most part, right, we like to stick to the rules of the volume profile. You can see here, we went from the low, started our journey up to the POC. We started holding it, then we slipped it a little bit. But at the end of the day, once you get the hold of that value area low and the reclaim, you're expecting to start that journey up to the value area high. And even if you lose the POC slightly, more often than not, you are going to see that full fill of the range. So in this case, it's nice that we are locally sitting above this POC at 89,491. But at the end of the day, right, like we can kind of bing bong around here before finally seeing the full fill of that range, which would be bringing us back down towards the 83, daily naked point of control. This is somewhat of a zone. Key support here, daily naked point of control / value area low, sitting at 83,910 all the way down to about, call it 83,531, right? So, I will be looking at this in context of this volume profile. If you want to get out of here, and again, I'm going to talk about why we might just kind of continue down. But, based off the laws of this volume profile, we've rejected back into the value area, right? We went to the POC, and now we're playing with that POC, right? So, could we potentially reclaim the POC and send it back out of here? Maybe. We are, I believe we are holding some Fibonacci retracements. I think it's pulled from here to the high. This might be it. Actually, I'm going to have to pull it a little bit higher. But there it is, right? Golden pocket is holding, so maybe we could hold it and send it out of here. But at the end of the day, guys, the laws of the volume profile typically do wind up playing out. And if we look at this, right, the 4-hour money flow still is not looking that bad here, guys, right? Yesterday, this was something we were looking at as we were getting the push to the upside. 4-hour money flow is continuing to trend to the upside. Even if I zoom in here, we're not even really getting any local dumps out here on the money flow. So, money flow does indicate the overall trend. And, at this point, if you're expecting the move down to the value area low, this money flow has got to reject pretty hard, right? And, is this likely to see this money flow reject? Well, if we come on down to some of these lower time frames, right, let's take a look at the 45-minute money flow trending down, right? 30-minute, come on. Came out, coming back into the green. Let's check that 8-hour real quick. Yeah, we have that 8-hour red dot, which is lingering. So I'll be honest here, guys. As we've rejected that 786, I do think there is a possibility of continuing down here, right? Just based off, I know 30-minute money flow has come back up, which, of course, adds a little bit of chop to the chart here. But overall, this actually isn't that bad. I don't hate this, but especially when the 4-hour money flow is looking like this, right? Like the anticipation here would be for the longer-term trend in the context of the 4-hour to continue to the upside. Maybe you hold the golden pocket and then you send it on out of here. But you got to be really careful here because, again, you're within your volume profile and all you got to do is lose that POC and send it back down to the value area low. And at that point, if we really start seeing the bigger dump, that's where we could see that sweep of liquidity into that, $75,000, $76,000 area, right? So this is what I'm looking at, right? As far as the local price action, if we lose that POC, I'm going to be looking for the bigger drop down. And with the way, right, I'm going to be keeping a close eye on this 24 and 30-minute money flow because this is clearly trending to the downside. VWAP is rolling over as well. We're also, coming on into some of these local Fibonacci retracements. We're rejecting that golden pocket 786. So if we are going to anticipate this downtrend to continue, right, this would be a beautiful place to put in that lower high, right, before getting back down below the POC and sending it to the downside. And again, 24-minute money flow crosses over into the red with this red dot. That 8-hour red dot is also lingering, giving you that market cipher B 116 strategy. So if we see that 8-hour red dot print with the 30 and the 24-minute money flow crossovers into the red, I do think that is where you're going to see the bigger drop to the downside occur, right? So the idea here is if you are going to reject this, right, because we're looking for lower highs and lower lows to continue on, right, we're looking for the continuation of the downtrend. again, to break structure to the downside, right? You're going to be looking at that golden pocket 786. If we can't get above that 786, oh man, lose that POC, could be sending it to lower prices. And again, market cipher could be lining up with that, with the money flow coming out. And if we see that red money flow crossover on the 24 and 30 minute, I do think that's where the downtrend is likely to continue. And then that would make me think like, hey, are we going to start getting gravitated through this volume profile? The volume profiles very rarely lie to us, guys. It's not impossible to bounce off a POC and send it out of here. But, based off the actual volume profiles, they're very reliable, guys. You typically do. Again, even if you get those little retracements, you lose the POC. More often than not, you are going to get gravitated from the value area high to the POC, value area low to the POC to the high, and from the value area high to the POC to the low. So at the end of the day, POC is definitely going to be your biggest key level of support locally, right? If you do not want to see the bigger drop down, you want to hold above this POC. But in my opinion, rejecting this 786 retracement with the money flow on the 24-minute and the 8-hour red dot incoming, this is like a line of many things pointing in the same direction. So that's what I'm looking at right now. We'll see if we get that rejection, lose the POC, and get the bigger drop down. The only thing, the reason why I'm not like just fully sitting up here, it's definitely a scenario we can see happen, but this 4-hour money flow, right? Like, it's not like we're about to print a green dot here or anything like that. I would feel much more bullish, right? I don't hate this money flow, but if this was about to print a green dot, I'd feel a little bit better. So it is, there are some mixed signals. Like, 4-hour money flow looks pretty decent right now, but I would really like to see that VWAP come up a little bit more. But the problem is that money flow crossover on the 24-minute is, with the 8-hour red dot, in my opinion, is probably going to be a higher probability of happening first before we see that money flow crossover into the green on the 4-hour. So, I'm being very careful for rejections here, to be quite honest. And that's the context that I'm looking at. For the most part, these are the local levels, right? Now, again, we do have the other local range down here, which, again, we've talked about this yesterday. But at this point, I'm actually really liking the way this volume profile is looking. So are we about to see 83, 898 and below, potentially down to 75 to 76K? I mean, again, I think I don't typically trade into big news, but maybe it winds up being a nothing burger. Maybe we just, we don't get a ton of volatility and we just kind of range around here. But this is a scenario that we could see happen, right? We do have the lower highs and the lower lows locally. Let me see what this anchored VWAP from the high is doing here. Yeah, I mean, this anchored VWAP, come back up, slams you down, come back up. It's also confluent here. So this is definitely, just like yesterday, our key level of resistance locally was going to be this 786 right here, and we got the rejection. This is similar for the continuation of the downtrend of this lower time frame. So, yeah, I don't know. VWAP's rolling over on the 24-minute. Yeah, so for the bullish case to play out, to be quite honest with you guys, right, you would hope that, that market cipher B116 strategy does not play out. It completely gets invalidated, and at that point, you're essentially just looking to get back inside your larger range. And I do want to talk about this this bigger volume profile that I have here, right? So I'm going to hide the local. I'm going to hide the local range, and this is pretty much the same range that we were looking at on the other chart here, guys. But it is actually just extended all the way to the right, and I could actually move this forward a little bit more. Doesn't really change the levels here, but I mean, at the same time, right? We are knocking on this value area low. So again, it's a very, very difficult call to make, right? Like, the local volume profile with the local money flow is calling for more downside. But if I were not looking at that, right, and I was only looking at the 4-hour, I would say to myself, well, hey, we are kind of just bing-bonging around below this volume profile, right? We came up, we bearishly retested, right? Is that bearish or is it bullish? It's a really hard call to make because the 4-hour is screaming, let's continue the trend to the upside here. If we get that 4-hour money flow crossover, the overall trend is more likely to continue up. But with the way that 30 and 24-minute is kind of stepping on that, only because we have the 8-hour red dot looking to print. This was actually printing earlier today. But, if this was not ready to print, I would feel a little better about that 4-hour. But we got to see what this 24-minute and 30-minute money flow does for us if we get those crossovers into the red, right? So if they cross over into the red, I think we get the bigger drop down, which, again, I will be looking at the local range. If we start losing that local range, I would look for the sweep of liquidity into 76 to 75K. But if those just completely fake out, then that's where you could potentially see, this VWAP's just going to yank to the upside out of nowhere. And if that does happen, if we just start pumping out of there, if I do take any shorts up here, I will just say, right, stop out for a small loss. And then once you start reclaiming this value area low, that's where we're looking for the bigger moves up, right? Flip that value area low right here, 91K, get above this. That's where we can start attacking that POC, which, again, still sitting at about, 96.6, right? And again, I hate to give like a million different levels and a million different scenarios, but in this market condition, guys, right now, I do think that, some surprises are likely to happen. And, There's much more, I'll say this, there's much more liquidity sitting above this high than there is above this high, right? Because in my own trader brain, right, I'm thinking like, well, hey, like we could have a lot of liquidity sitting up here, look for an SFP into the POC before it dropped to the downside, but I don't really see a lot of visible liquidity here on the heat maps. It's very, very clearly, more of the liquidity is sitting up above 100K. And in the longer term, like I've been saying all week, right, like this is very choppy price action. Obviously, we were crushing yesterday on the scalps. However, for the bigger trades, right, I'd like to come up to these bigger levels, right? This is a much bigger level, and this is a much bigger level. So, if you're not a day trader, or I should say like a scalper, right, I'd be waiting for these bigger levels to get hit, right? These are just much higher time frame, more significant levels with a lot more liquidity on both the upper end and the lower end, right? So if I were not scalping these little moves to the upside and downside in the premium, we would just be waiting, and for the most part, we're really waiting for the bigger trades up here, right, or the bigger trades down here. But until then, right, because we have this nice little volume profile down here, we could very easily, find some of these next little local trade setups. So this is the local range, and then obviously the macro range remains exactly the same. And, if you want to look at the previous volume profile, like this one, bada boom, right? This value area is slightly different than the current, right? I'll just show you live here to show you how much it changes, right? So if I click here, right, 92.4 is where this one comes in. If you incorporate the rest of the price action, it does come down a little bit, and that's kind of the level that we're fighting on right now. So I am looking at both of these, right? This is still a significant level. This is still a significant level. I am just looking at both of them. So yeah, just keep that in mind. That's really the only difference between this range and this range, right? I just extended this one all the way to the right. So that's what we're looking at. Longer term, just looking at the macro profiles. Technically, we're knocking on the doorway to higher prices, which could open the door to the POC. But remember, this is resistance until proven otherwise, right? This could just be strong resistance. And the way that 30-minute money flow is looking, definitely a possibility of bringing us back down to the lows here. And that's where, again, we have that nice, clean local range, right? We start losing it. We start breaking down out of that range. I'm sitting on my hands waiting for that liquidity to get swept right down here below about 78K. Get back up in here, and then maybe we could send it off to higher prices. So, yeah. We'll see what happens. Tomorrow's going to be a big day, guys. 100%. Hopefully. Let's see. Blast off commencing. Shout out to Eugene. I hope so, bro. I hope so. I really would prefer the bullish case to play out at this point. I think my spot bag plans, I sold all my crypto, guys. The top of the bull market's in. I'm just kidding. I don't want to spread fake FUD. No, I'm just joking. My spot bag, listen, I talk about this a lot. My spot bag situation is, I bought much lower, right? Like my Bitcoin spot bags are very healthy, right? Like I bought down here, we're all the way up here. So like I'm in a really cushy position there. I'm not freaking out about these dumps or pumps as of right now, or really just not freaking out about the dumps. And yeah, it's altcoins are crushed, right? Like there's no doubt about that. And I also want to bring up the DXY, guys. We took a look at it yesterday, but I do want to talk about that just for a minute, right? Because typically when the dollar dumps, right, like that's really where we see the risk on assets send it. Here's the thing, right? Like I want to be so bullish, right, on tomorrow's event, right? But as a trader, right, my trader brain comes in, right? As a crypto person, I'm like, this is crazy. They're having an actual meeting in the White House about crypto. This is crazy. We've waited so long for this. But I just think it's a little too... it's a little bit too easy to predict, right? Like, oh, just buy now, right? They're going to have that meeting and it's going to blast off into new all-time highs. It seems a little too obvious to me, right? But what would seem a little less obvious to a typical retail trader is, oh, Crypto Summit. Maybe we run up into the rumor, right, as the meeting is approaching. Shout out to Mrs. Candles. Get in here, Mrs. Candles. Maybe we could take a good luck sniff of that hand. She is lurking, guys. She is on the hunt for something. Let me just get a hand sniff real quick. Come on in here, Mrs. Candles. Let's see. How about those nails? Oh, look at this. Money green, baby. Money green. Can we show them? Money green on the nails. Let's go, baby. Let me get a sniff here. Okay, sorry, guys. Anyway, what are you looking for, Mrs. Candles? Keyboard. Oh, I got it. Look at that. Frankie Candles doesn't lose the little USB things. Oh, okay. Never mind. It might be plugged in here. Okay, she's got it. Shout out to Mrs. Candles. Hopefully we can pump off that little finger lick. But yeah, I just think it's a little bit too obvious, right? Like, I would think it's more likely to kind of like rally into it and then get a super scary fake out, right? Like, oh my God, that's it. Bear market's here. And then we know, right? We have all that liquidity sitting below. We know we have all this down here, right? As traders, this would be a much more sophisticated way to kind of fake all the retail out. Oh my God, bullish. Bull runs back on. Alt season incoming. Never mind, guys. Bear market. And then boom, we send it up. At the end of the day, guys, we have already hit the first major key level of support in the macro, right? Which is simply the golden pocket retracement. We have front run the 786, which is obviously confluent with the daily naked point of control here, right? So it would make a lot of sense, in my opinion, if we do get the bigger drop down, sweep that liquidity. Everyone's calling for it to be over, and then we send it back to the upside. I was talking about this situation for a while, right? Maybe we get the correction to the golden pocket, and then maybe we just send it to the upside, right? When everyone was expecting breakouts, we were saying there might be more pain incoming here. I talked about this in my Bitcoin 2025 prediction video. Like, hey guys, we're bullish. We think there's all-time highs incoming, but I'm anticipating a potential drop down to 80K. And I know a lot of people are going to think the bear market is here, but I'm going to be looking for longs down there. And we did get the bounce and the flush of liquidity we looked for. But it's not, it's not over till the fat blue 786 sings. Right? And this is another opportunity to potentially get that bigger bounce. Once we start losing that 786, guys, I think we have a bit more pain to endure. Does that mean we're going into a traditional 4-year bear market or 4-year cycle bear market? It's not enough for me, right? But it could cause a lot of pain for people to maybe we see some kind of black swan, maybe the economy is not great or whatever the macro news is, and it could cause like a big stall out before finally coming up. But if we don't drop 75% here and spend a good amount of time at those lows, right, and this would not be a 75% dump, even if we came down to these lows, it's about a 48% dump. That's just not a full 4-year cycle bear market of what we see it traditionally be. But I'm not saying that that's not the case, but we can only really look at that situation coming into play once we start losing that 786. So we still have strong support below. So I'm not getting scared here. I'm definitely looking for longs at this level. This could, even if we wick down into these highs here, closer to $72,000 to $70,000, could be the bounce that everyone's looking for, right? You got to shake them out and then send it to the moon, right? We'll see what happens on the news. It's really hard to predict. I don't trade based off the news. I trade based off the chart. So if we do see that drop, right, I'm not looking at like, oh my God, it's all over. I'm just looking at the technical levels and firing on trades when I see the setups. And we did that down here, and we're going to do it down here as well. So we'll see what happens. Let me check in on chat real quick, and then we'll move on. Do you plan to sell spot? My spot is chilling. My average price is 25K. Yeah, shout out to Felix. You're in a great position there, bro. Yeah, I already did take some profit on my Bitcoin. Not a ton. Maybe like 5%. Not a lot, right? I just did want to take a little, Bitcoin hit 100K, right? Like I kind of wanted to celebrate a little bit. But my next major targets to the upside, guys, are still between like 114, 120, 137K. I do think we could potentially get up to these prices. But that doesn't just mean Lambo candle up right now, right? We could, maybe this was all our pain we needed. Hopefully it is, right? Maybe this is all the pain we need. Hopefully it is, right? But there is a situation, guys, where, again, I always reference this, like a situation like this could happen, right? Was the bull market over? I think so, right? At the end of the day, right? I say this all the time. I'm not going to go into the whole spiel. A lot of things were pointing towards this being the top, right? But what happened, right? We just got bullish confirmations, that support, and then we got to rip back to the upside for a new all-time high, slightly. This was really just a liquidity sweep. But, a lot of people were probably thinking, that's it, guys. We're already down 55%. That's it. We're going to the bear market. And then that's where most people would be calling for like a 75 to 80% dump, saying 15K incoming. Now, were they completely wrong? Not really, right? But they were wrong for another rise up here. So, if you see a 48% dump, you see a 55% dump, it doesn't necessarily mean you're going into the traditional bear market. This was not a traditional 4-year cycle bear market. It was a little mini bear market before the real all-time high, and then you go into the traditional 4-year cycle bear market where you go and, stock market's dumping, everything is coming down, and you go into that actual bear market where you want to be accumulating, right? So, if a lot of people thought this was the bear market and they started buying on spot, right, and they saw the rise back up to the new all-time high, they're thinking, when you're buying down here thinking this is a bear market, what are you thinking? You're thinking this thing's going to 100K. And then what happens? You go back down to 15K and you're holding that bag to the bottom. You don't want to do that, right? You don't want to be in a situation where we see something more bearish play out. I have a folder on this chart, guys. And I want to label this. If I'm showing this, if I'm revealing this folder, I'm sorry. Because I don't want to bring this up on live streams, but I may relabel it. Is this the folder? I think it is. Yep, that's it. Okay, I don't really want to bring it up, but if we really want to talk worst case scenario here, guys, what happens if you get the bigger jump to the downside and we're not going to go into a 4-year traditional bear market? Just looking at this, forgetting about the 4-year cycle, forgetting about the bull market, bear market, right? Just looking at this from a technical standpoint, we have a very simple situation here, right? And this is why I love volume profiles. We are just value area traders, right? We simply trade within the volume profile, the deviations, and obviously when we break out, we can look to approach new value, right? Price ranges 80% of the time, right? More often than not, price is ranging, right? Only 20% of the time, right, are we getting these big impulses, right? There's much more time spent ranging, right? 80% ranging. The rest is basically just impulses. Now, when you're in a range like this and you lose the range, which we may be doing right now on these bearish retests, which again could mean that we're going for the lower liquidity, right? When I look at this chart bear, right, all I see is value area, breakdown, bearish retest. If you can't aggressively get back into this range and send it up, this is very likely a bearish retest for more downside, right? And then you look at things like the 2-day money flow, continuing to the downside, which would call for much more downside, right? Continuation of the trend, just like this. And that bearish retest, that's why I'm saying this value area low that we're looking at. Let me actually hide the local levels real quick and pull up the main volume profile, right? Like, if you get rejected out of this range, guys, and we put in another lower low, which the 2-day money flow might be pointing towards, all right? If we cross over into the red, you got the fib levels, but when you lose an area of value, guys, right, and you impulse out, right, where are you going to be anticipating price to get gravitated to? You're going to be looking, price is more likely than not going to approach previous value. And very simply, our one value area is here, our second value area is here. Not much in between. This is why we saw the quick drop to the downside, because we have this is a very low volume node. Right? We pull up the VPVR. We talked about this too, just to show how, simple it is to view this, right? We knew once we started losing these lows, right? This high volume node, we have this big gap underneath us to about $80,000, right? So if we break this level, we're probably going to get that fast drop down through the low volume gap. Fast moves up equal fast moves down more often than not. So if we are bearishly retesting here and we're going to get the next drop to the downside, guys, very naturally, price, in my opinion, is going to get attracted towards our next volume profile, which is simply sitting down here with the golden pocket value area high confluence sitting between 72,315 and 69,864. I just want to prepare everybody, right? And again, it's not as easy as just calling for a bear market if we get down there. But, just from a trading perspective, right? Like if you lose this range, right? Which again, just to hammer it home, this could be a bearish retest. If you don't hop on here and start sending it soon, right, we could see the bigger drop down. And if that 786 doesn't hold, price is probably going to attract towards this previous area of balance. These volume profiles act as a magnet for price. And when you enter them and get stuck inside of them, more often than not, you see them fill in full. So, that opens up a super, super low target of about 60K, which is going to be 45% to the downside. That is not a traditional bear market. It doesn't mean that this isn't the start of the traditional bear market, right? You get a 40% dump, then we come back up, and then we get the real bear market to come in. But it's not enough to just say, that's it, we're down 48%, this is the bear market. Because if you call that, you would have been calling for the bear market here before we ran all the way back up to all-time highs, right? And that's why we take the 4-year cycle with it, not a grain of salt, but we have to understand you can't just predict everything off the 4-year cycle. So that's why I stick to the charts. Value area up here. If we impulse again out of here, 786 hopefully holds, but if not, guys, it is the danger zone. This is why I say I do not want to lose the 786. Golden pocket's fine. Give me this golden pocket retracement, send us to the upside, that's great. But if we start losing this 786, this is why I prefer not to even interact with this level, which I do think is in the cards, unfortunately, but I would have preferred not to have to come see this level, because once you start losing it, your next thesis is, well, hey, like, we're now approaching this area of value. We're getting rejected out of this value. We're probably going to get attracted into this value, right? This is how auction market theory works, right? Just a rotation of value. We talk about this all the time. You lose one volume profile. We take a look at it on Ethereum constantly, right? You have this volume profile. Once you impulse out of here, you're going to look to attract to the previous area of balance. What happens? Price comes in, flips the value area low to support, and you fold the range in full. Deviate above the high, back to the POC, back to the low. Then what happens? You lose this value area, and where do you go? You go back into this range. I'm not going to zoom into the lower time frames. I know it looks like we just nuked right through it, but this range was respected in some form or fashion, and now we're playing around in an even lower range. So when we look at Bitcoin, it's the same thing, right? Like, are we about to see us come back down into this range? It's definitely in the cards. I'm not calling for this just yet. I'm not saying, Frankie Candle's here, we're going to 60K. But I just want you guys to be prepared on the charts with what we have down below and why I'm looking at the 786 as such a key level. It's the 786, weekly naked point of control, and the bottom of the CME gap is still sitting down there unfinished. So if you don't yoink out of here, that's why I don't want to lose a level. Plain and clear, right? Like, you lose this, I don't want to have to deal with this because it means that we could get the bigger drop down and range around in this zone. Makes it a really difficult situation. Now, we're going to catch those shorts. We're going to catch the bing bongs around if we do come trade in these levels. And I didn't really want to bring this up, but I made this chart yesterday, and I just want to bring it up. Clear volume profile, clear volume profile. These rotate value. And, even if we take a look at the local, let me pull up my volume template here. And basically all this is, guys, is it pulls multiple volume profiles. If it'll spawn here, come on. There we go, right? This is just pulling multiple volume profiles over the week, right? So they're weekly volume profiles. And typically, this is not what we want to see. We are just continuously, developing. Let me come down to a lower time frame here, right? Come on. Actually, you know what? I'm actually going to change a setting here as well. Come on, trading view. Come on, baby. Do it. There we go. I'm actually going to look at monthlies here, right? If we pull this up, clean it up, make it a little less noisy, right? We have a volume profile up here. Now we're trading in a lower volume profile. Now we're trading in a lower volume profile. This is not good. We're just like continuously getting lower and lower value. This is, AKA a downtrend, right? I'm very cautious, right? Like I want to be optimistic, but I'm definitely being very cautiously optimistic. If this is going to play out in a very bearish case, just remember, $786 at $76,000 is the most important point of support, right? Because if we start losing it, we could be playing around with that much more bearish scenario that I just looked at, which hopefully is not going to be the case, guys. Hopefully, Frankie, what's our way out of here? You got to get above the volume profile, right? And you got to hold up there, right? You don't want like a wick and then a rejection. This is bearish. That's bearish, right? You want to see that 4-hour money flow continue up, right? And again, 30-minute not looking great. But if you see that 4-hour money flow continue up and we start getting up here and holding this as support, that's your best bet. But even in that case, guys, the 2 daily naked points of controls, and you will notice I did clean up these MPOCs. Shout out to Nico. Nico dropping the nail biting emoji. Yeah, it's a nail biter, guys. It's a nail biter, right? Because even if we come in here, understand. Macro golden pocket, right? Like at the end of the day, even if we get the push to the upside, it's I want to say like, hey, you get back in this volume profile, that's great. It's really not the answer. That's really not the truth though, right? It's really only great to open up the door to the POC. Because of this golden pocket here, this is a high probability area that you could put in a macro lower high to then get the bigger move down. Right, so flipping that value area low is the next really key level to get above in order for more upside, but you're just running into massive resistance. And this golden pocket is confluent with the POC of the range, with the anchored VWAP from the high, right? With the golden pocket, with the 2 daily naked points of controls, with the POC of the range, right? Huge level of resistance. And then even if you get above here, sure, if you break 100K, you got the liquidity that could send you up to the 786 value area high, but that's the 786. The last part, the last area where, if you're not expecting a lower high here, you'd be expecting it here. It's not until we break out of this range, guys, with confirmation that we can really look for this thing to send it. Very, very difficult situation on Bitcoin right now, if you guys haven't noticed, right? Like we're chopped in the low time frames. Again, we're scalping that. We're making money, but it's a sketchy situation, and it's very likely going to be hard to predict. And I'll be the first person to tell you that just looking at the charts. That's why we come up with these scenarios, and I simply sit on my hands and wait for the higher time frame levels to get hit. And I only react, right, again, unless we're scalping the lower time frames, which is fine, but that's in the context of the lower time frames. For the most part, to call for a big move out or a big move down is very hard to do right now. And I'm sure there's a lot of people out there being like, tomorrow's news will give us the all-time highs, and I hope it does. But it's just really hard to call because they're going to be feeling really good about the push up, but they might not know that they're running into a high probability area to put in a macro lower high. They might not know that 2-day money flow is coming out. And to be honest, the money flow is a little chopped up. The 4-hour looked great, right? But the 2-day looks like garbage, right? The 2-day looks like trash here, right? This 2 days look very similar to what it looked like before we got a continuation to the downside in this last big accumulation range. So I'm simply playing it level to level. We're taking the trades, and we're reacting off the TA, right? I wish I could come up here and be like, tomorrow's news is huge. We're going to $1 million. But it's not that simple, right? If it was, just long every time you hear a rumor, and hope that you could sell close enough to the news. But let me jump into chat here, guys. We're going to take a look at some of the altcoins. We'll obviously keep an eye here on Bitcoin as it's just wiggling around up here. We do not want to reject here, guys. We really want to snap out of here. And again, like a simple level that you can look at, get above this anchored VWAP, get above the value area low. We might be a little bit safer for a bigger push up, but just don't get too excited. Even if we Lambo candled up here, this would be great. Just understand the importance of the levels you have above you. And again, I did clean up those daily naked points of controls because previously we did have, I'll bring them up, right? We did have the, right, we have them like all up in here. But what I did was I'm not going to explain all this, but I went up to a bigger tick size, which kind of clears up the noise when you're looking at MPOCs. And I just labeled these like a little less significant daily naked points of controls. They are there, but I'm more willing to use these for scalp trades rather than big swing trades. So I would be looking at these bigger, major NPOCs, which again are a little bit more confluent with your key levels anyway, right on that golden pocket. So just understand the resistance you have above. And yeah, hopefully you guys can understand that. I know there's a lot of scenarios at play right now, but that's just the scenario that that we're in. This is the market environment that we're looking at. But let's see. Shout out to Lars, said, yo, Frankie, I can't find the same liquidations you found around 75K on CoinGlass. What website did you use and what time frame? Shout out to Lars. I found my liquidation levels here on HighBlock Capital. This is a paid software. They do a lot more than just liquidation heat maps. They give a whole ton of different tools that you can look at that are super useful. But this is HighBlock Capital, and this is I don't know how they do the time frames on CoinGlass, but this is the 1 month on the 15-minute, 1 month stretch on the 15-minute time frame. So yeah. And it is Binance, Bybit, and BitMEX liquidations. You might just be looking at one exchange. If you are, and there's not a lot of liquidations sitting there on that exchange, you might not see the same levels. This is aggregating all 3 exchanges, or 3 big exchanges. So there you go. Hopefully that answers your question. Let's see. XMR looks strong AF. Yeah, we could take a look. We took a look at XMR yesterday. Maybe we'll take another look. Let's see. Crypto Billy in the chat. Captain Kirk in the chat. Welcome in. Thank you for being here. Hope you guys are doing well. Buy spot safe 100%. Shout out to Nico. Not 100% sure exactly what you mean by that. Let's see. Thank you for the lessons. I am new to crypto. Shout out to Irvin. Shout out to you, man. Welcome to the CandleMafia. I appreciate you for being here. Make sure you subscribe to the channel and turn on notifications so you don't miss any of these live streams or market updates that we upload. Gordon says, let's wreck the market makers and exchanges tomorrow. Let's go. Everybody, full port 100x at the same time. We're going to do a mass long, and hopefully we could step on the institutions. I don't think we stand much of a chance, but we'll try. Quick Solana check. Yeah, so shout out to everybody in the chat. Do you think buy the rumor, sell the news event? Yeah, I think, listen, this is what we see more often than not. I would say this. If we rally into the event, I'd be very cautious on those rallies. And again, I'm never going to be one of those people that come up here and, and I think you guys should take this and, remember this, right? Like, I'm never going to come up here and say, if you're longing this, you're an idiot and you don't know what you're doing, right? That's not the case. I am fully aware. I've been trading for a very long time. I've been in crypto for a very long time, even when I wasn't actively trading, right? I've been watching this market. I've been watching the charts for many years. And if there's one thing that I've learned, even from talking to other traders, right? Traders we've had on the show, real people, right? The real deals, right? These are the first people to tell you that you have to be prepared for unimaginable things, right? The market, you're never going to be able to predict the market 100% by using TA, but in my opinion, it is the best way to look at the market because it's unbiased, right? It's just what the charts show you is what the charts show you, and they're not going to be right 100% of the time, but more often than not, they are going to put the odds in your favor, and that's what trading is all about. It's not about guessing 100% which way it's going to go and then full porting your account and gambling to get rich overnight. You're going to lose all your money like that. Trust me, because I was in that situation before, and guess what? I lost all my money. We actually just had a really exciting meeting earlier today about something potentially coming up. I don't want to tease it too much, but it's super, super cool. And I was talking to someone else who was a trader, and they were saying the same thing. They're just everyone just expects you to be TA to be right 100% of the time. It's not our job, right? But yeah, stay tuned for that. Let's see. And again, yeah, like I'm never going to tell you you can't long here. You're an idiot. If you could long here and it could play out. I am holding my Ethereum long, so I am technically in a long position right now. But right now, I'm just trading the charts, and we'll see what happens. I do think, right, buy the rumor, sell the news. If you rally into that rumor, right, I would be careful of the sell the news event. It doesn't mean that you can't just Lambo candle out, right? A lot of people would have said that on the election, right? They would have been like, no, you can't do that, right? Like, don't long the election. That's, you're definitely going to be wrong. It's definitely going to be a sell the news event. Sure, it could have been, right? But I talk about why I think the election did give us a big leg up, and the reason was because it wasn't a rumor, right? It wasn't like Trump's gonna be in office. That's good for crypto. Buy up the rumor, and then he gets in and it dumps. That's not what it was, right? It was uncertainty until the election. The market does not like uncertainty. So that's typically where you see either indecision, which is consolidation, right, or maybe even a little bit of fear, right? Because the market just does not like doesn't like uncertainty, right? So you're either kind of like traders are like, I'm bullish, I'm bearish, I'm bullish, I'm bearish, I'm bullish, I'm bearish. Technically, we were trending down here, so it's like there's indecision with a bullish outcome, right? And that's what causes that big impulse to the upside because everyone's scared and then everyone's optimistic, and that's what causes the breakout. This is everybody's bullish because something good is going to happen, and it could just be a buy the rumor event, and then when it happens, it's a sell the news event. So take that for what it's worth. Let's see, bullish megaphone on the 5-minute, stop below 200. Shout out to Ricardo. Thank you for the super chat, bro. I appreciate you so much. Stop below 200. Stop below 200 on. I don't know exactly what that means on Bitcoin. Is that what you're talking about? Let me know. Let me know. You don't have to super chat again. But if I can see your chat, I will try to take a look at that for you. But yeah, and again, like, it doesn't mean you can't long right now. If you see a low time frame setup, maybe you're in a long, like, right? Like, you have to trade your plan, right? Like, my plan is this is more longer term, right? And again, I'm not going to sit up here and say we're definitely going to dump. I'm just saying I don't like that 24 and 30 minute money flow, and it is right more than it's wrong. It doesn't mean that can't play out. That doesn't mean that that's definitely going to play out, right? If we get above here and we flip that value area low, I'm not just going to keep shorting and shorting and shorting and shorting and shorting and shorting, right? I'm going to change my thesis, right? I'm going to find a plan and a good entry to get into a long position to send it to the upside. And like I said, I am holding my long on ETH, so I may even be looking to hedge it with a short just like last night. Unfortunately, I'd already be in the short if I was up at 124 when it happened. Saw those confirmations. I would have taken that trade, but can't be at the charge 24/7, unfortunately. There was a point where I would just set alerts and wake up in the middle of the night and take trades. Don't do that. It's not great. 200 moving average. Yeah, maybe. Shout out to, who said that? Spanky. Yeah, that's probably the case. Let's see. Okay, so I do want to jump into the altcoins a little bit, guys. We'll take a look here. I'm just going to set alert above these highs just so we get alerted if Bitcoin starts to move, because I do want to keep an eye on that. And then we'll just, we'll keep an alert over here. I don't think we're going to dump down that fast, but we'll know if we get a break to the downside as well. Let's see. Yeah, shout out to Mr. Market. Said entry, stop loss, and take profit. One planned before trading every time. Shout out to Mr. Market. I believe you that you're Mr. Market, because that's how you should be trading, right? I always recommend that, especially if you let the emotions get into your trading. You're moving your stop losses. You're moving your take profits. You want to try to make more money. At the end of the day, you have to have a plan. And the easy way to remove emotion out of that trade is to plan the trade, set all your levels, right? Take profit, stop loss. 2 take profits if you want, 3 take profits, 5 take profits, whatever you want, right? And just let that trade play out. If you hit your first take profit and get stopped out, then boom, you made a little bit of money. If it runs into your final take profit, boom, you made a little bit more money, right? But it takes the emotion out. Let the computer do the trading for you. It's a great way to do it. I don't do that 100% of the time. I don't want to lie, but it's a great way to do it. If you can't keep your emotions under control, or you're learning, I think that's the best way to just kind of remove emotion out of the equation, right? Just like take your human interaction off of it. Have your trade set up, set it, see if it plays out or not, right? It also makes it a little less stressful, because if price starts dumping, you're not like, oh my God, I got to get to the computer. It's just like, oh man, price, I got an alert. I just got stopped out. No problem. Shout out to Creighton C. Thank you for the super chat. Said, all right, guys, I think we're ready to lay down the likes. By the way, my name is Creighton C. Yes, the Creighton C. And I got to tell you, Frankie, you have got what appears to be dynamite-like ability. Dynamite-like ability or dynamite-like ability? Shout out to Creighton C. I think it means dynamite-like ability. Shout out to Crane C. I appreciate you so much. Thank you for the super chat, bro. And smash up that like button, guys, if you have not already. I want to jump into Ethereum. We'll jump into Solana. But first, before we do that, guys, I want to jump into the DXY, which we were looking at yesterday. Absolutely tanking here. This has kind of got me feeling okay, right? Like, I don't hate seeing this happen, right? Typically, when we see the DXY absolutely plummet, this is where we could be setting up for a situation where the risk on assets can start to run a little bit. Now, obviously, we are a little bit of a slave to QE. We are a little bit of a slave to the macroeconomic situation, obviously, but I don't hate that the DXY is pulling back here. We used to check on the DXY a lot. I haven't checked in on it in a while, but I always check in on it personally. I have it here on my main watch list here. The DXY coming down is something that we looked at yesterday, and I actually like this, right? Because not only are we dumping down, we're at 104, which is nice. And look at our money flow on the daily. This daily money flow, look at it cross over into the red, right? So not only are we getting a big drop to the downside, we've broken structure here, but this money flow could be indicating that the overall trend is more likely to continue to the upside, to the downside. Which historically is a good sign for risk on assets, which right now we are in a risk-off environment for the most part, right? Bitcoin's been holding up pretty decent in that environment. Altcoins have been getting absolutely slaughtered. I understand that. But this is another thing that I'm looking at that's like, hey, we haven't seen a big dump like this on the DXY for quite some time, and it is nice, right? We peaked out all the way up here at about 110. Now we're getting a big move down, money flow in the daily coming out. So we can get that daily money flow crossover into the red. I would like to see that continuation because, again, it would, even on bounces here, right? Maybe we get, it's not going to be just a dump in a straight line, but, at this point, if that money flow crosses over into the red, we want to see the DXY go into a bigger downtrend so we can open up room for the risk on assets. So this is nice, right? And you can see here, last time we got a money flow crossover into the red, did call for a much bigger drop to the downside, right? Like any of these daily money flow crossovers even here, right? Bada boom, right? And it's not going to be fully correlated 100% with Bitcoin, but typically when you see bearish action on the DXY, it is good for risk on assets. So that is something to keep an eye on. It is headed in the right direction at least. So yeah, we'll see what happens here. SPY is also, I just want to take a quick look at this. Yeah, SPY just kind of wiggling around down here still. But yeah, let's go ahead and jump on into some of the alts. We got Solana here. Bada boom. Let me pull up. Shout out to Creighton C. Thank you for the super chat again, bro. Yo, shout out to Creighton C. Showing love. I appreciate you so much, bro. He says, easy, guys. I put my pants on just like the rest of you, one leg at a time, except once my pants are on, Frankie gets 1,000 likes. All right, here we go. 1,000 likes. Take one. Smash the like. Shout out to Creighton C. Let's go, baby. Let's go. Let's see. What are we at right now? We're at 500 likes. Let's go. We can run it up. I think we can. Shout out to Pennywise in the chat. Let's get it. Everybody's favorite friendly clown. Welcome in. Welcome in. Shout out to DJ. I don't know if I 100% understand. He says, what made you look at ETH or look for a long on ETH while everything was dumping? Everything was dumping, even ETH. But ETH was the only one that jumped 100 pips. Even TA made it look bearish. Shout out to DJ. That's a great question, bro. Tony, hey, Tyler Durden, Rob the Crypto Snob, Crypto Billy, Darren Does Things, any of the mods. If you guys can ban that Tony D guy, kick him, get him out of here, dude. Show new hair? What does that even mean? What does that even mean? Show new hair. I don't know what that means. I don't have new hair. I haven't gotten a haircut in months, guys. Months. I have no new hair. Ban him. Kick him out of here. No, I did get a new haircut, guys. It's probably all messy because it's under my hat right now. It's actually, everything is shaved except a little piece just sticking up right here. That would be hilarious. Yo, shout out to Golden. Thank you for the super chat. He said, ha, 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 ha. Shout out to Golden, bro. Golden, are you about to dump this thing? Please, for the love of God, give us a warning, please. Shout out to Golden. Oh, God, that is menacing and very cryptic. Shout out to Golden. Hopefully that's an evil pump laugh. Let's see. The candle cut. Shout out to Lucky's Thoughts. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, we got to ban this guy, Tony D. Get him out of here, guys. Unbelievable. It's too good. But yeah, I do just, to answer that question, because that is a good question. So let's take a look at Ethereum first, and then I'll jump into Solana. And the reason why I was looking for the long down here on ETH, and I showed this the other day in the Discord. If I come on over here to the alt section, we have been looking for this, and it's a great question, right? Because number one, to answer the question, why were we looking for a dump? Why were we looking for longs on ETH as it was dumping? And the simple answer to that is that's when you want to be looking for longs, right? A lot of people think that when price dumps, that's where you want to look for shorts. It's not the case, right? And it doesn't mean that when you're dumping, you can't look. What I mean is, as you're dumping, that's not where you want to immediately start shorting, right? If you want to look for a short on a big dump, you have to wait for a retracement back to the upside. You only want to be taking shorts as price is pumping up, right? Because chances are you're going to get some kind of a retracement back to the upside before turning back around and coming back down. So you don't want to wait for price to nuke to the floor, right? And then enter a short just for a bounce to the upside. And then that's where people go, oh, wait, I was wrong. Let me long. And then they long, but then the downtrend continues. So it's important to understand your market structure, your trend, and all that stuff. But at the end of the day, it's like when things are dumping and everyone is bearish and everything is red and everything is scary, that's where you want to start looking for longs. And as a matter of fact, sometimes it's the best place to look for a long, right? So we were waiting for this level ever since Bitcoin, even before this, but this is really when we started to look for the trade. We looked for it back here as well, but we just front ran the levels and never came down to them before getting a massive rip up. And then, as we started coming back down, we're like, could we come back down to these lows? And the reason was because we had liquidity sitting down here, right? And once we got this big liquidation wick, we front ran that level. Where we had a monthly naked point of control. We had a lot of liquidation sitting at about $2,000. And we were looking at this. This is a post from February 6th, right? When price was all the way up here at $2,700, right? And so we were waiting for this dump down, right? And we said, hey, if we come down here and we sweep that liquidity below $2,000, this could be an opportunity to look for a bigger bounce on Ethereum, right? Sweep all that lower liquidity. Everyone thinks it's dead. That's where we want to look for the long. So we've been waiting for it for a long time. And when price hits our levels and we get confirmation, that's just where we're going to be looking for longs no matter what, right? It doesn't matter how bearish everything looks. And when you look at this, right, I would agree with you here. Obviously things look pretty gross here, right? Like it's like, oh my God, we dumped, we pumped, we dumped again. But all I could see here from again, an agnostic standpoint, an unbiased standpoint, we finally, right? We even came down and got a big bounce. But why was I not that excited about this bounce? Well, it's because we front ran all that liquidity we had sitting down here. And we even looked at this on the live stream saying, hey, can we bounce from here and continue up? Sure. But I would still love to come down here and sweep the liquidity. We left the liquidity sitting. We never tapped the monthly naked point of control. And what happens? Fake out, dump to sweep the liquidity, reclaim of the naked point of control. If you guys go back to that stream, I don't remember exactly what it was, but it's like we saw exactly what we wanted. Drop down, sweep the liquidity. I mean, you can see it here on the post. Sweep the liquidity, get back above the levels, and then give it a bigger pop to the upside, right? So that's just really what we were looking at. And even here, there was a long setup as well. It just wasn't really what we were looking for. And what do you know, right? Oh, like you could even thought like, oh man, like what happened? I thought we were going to sweep the liquidity before the bounce. And it's like, well, the market does crazy stuff, but more often than not, even if it fakes you out, it's like, I'm seeing this pump up and I'm like, I don't know. I'm still suspicious. Like more often than not, you're going to go sweep that liquidity. And everyone's like, not everyone, but like, I think of this like in my head, a lot of people would be like, well, what happened? We're pumping. I thought you were going to sweep the liquidity. It's like, the market goes up and down, right? Just because you don't immediately see your signs, more often than not, that TA is going to play out, and you are going to go seek that liquidity, tap the monthly levels, and get back into your range, and hopefully send this thing back to the upside. So hopefully that answers your question. That's a great question. And at the end of the day, right, like what do I see down here? Sure, we're dumping, right? But what do I see? I see bullish divergences, right? I see bullish divs on the daily, right? Or the 8-hour, right? I see sweeps of liquidity. I see a swing failure pattern, right? I see liquidity sitting below here. I see a flush of that liquidity, a reclaim of the level, and you get back above the value area low, right? So bullish divergence, swept the liquidity, and once you reclaim that value area low, you can look for a continuation up. Where are you looking for price to go? We're looking for it to go to the POC, guys, and this is what we were looking at yesterday, so I'll just jump into the TA right now. Here on ETH, sweep the liquidity, get it back above the low, right? And where are you looking for price to go next? Once you reclaim that value area low, especially with bullish divergences, right? Especially with sweeps of liquidity, where are you looking for price to go? Well, you're going to be looking for the next likely place for price to go to be that point of control. Where are we getting the rejection from, right? We actually even had some local levels here on ETH, which was a local golden pocket. I believe it was 2650, I believe was closer to that level. So we were, I believe last night on the live stream, I want to make sure I get this right. What was yesterday? The 5th? I think we longed it around here, right? And then, looking for that to push up into the 786 or the golden pocket, right? So we wound up actually hitting that golden pocket, which I think has happened right after the stream or maybe during the stream. Did it happen? Yeah. Or right before the stream we popped in. And then we were looking at this 786 at about $2,300. That's the next likely place for price to go. Once you get above the golden pocket, you're going to be looking for that 786. And at the end of the day, if you're not even looking at Fibonacci levels, once you get above the value area low, more often than not, price is going to start its journey to the POC. Where are we getting the rejection from? Directly from that POC where we have that resistance, right? And there you get the big pullback. So this is, right, at the end of the day, right, we're still above the value area, and we could potentially, this could be a journey, right? Up to the POC, you kind of bing bong around, maybe you retest the value area low, but as long as we hold above that value area low, guys, the doorway back to the POC is open, right? Just like it was yesterday, you see it tapped. And, hopefully this shows you guys the reliability of the volume profiles, right? This is not me cherry picking. This is stuff we looked at yesterday, right? And stuff we look at every day. You hold the low, next likely place for price to go is the POC. And that wound up running up in a big way, right? And we got the rejection right from that key level of resistance. But, as long as we hold above the value area low, which is sitting at about, say, $2,096, right? We stay above that, right? And the doorway back to the PLC, maybe we bing bong around, maybe we just come back up. And I'll dig into Market Cipher B here in a minute. But at the end of the day, right? Like once you get into the golden pocket, if you flip the golden pocket, next level is going to be the 786 at 2437. Flip that to support. Next major key level is going to be the local value area that we have sitting above us, right? Sitting between about, 2600 and 2630. right? So that is going to be another, local levels of support, resistance on the way up. But at the end of the day, right, like the first major level is that POC. If we continue back up, you have the golden pocket, flip that, 786, break that 786. I think you run into the value area low. If you reclaim that level, hold it as support, get above the value area low in the POC, you can look for the fill up to the value area high, right? And the reason I love the volume profiles is, right, because like look how high probability this was. You get above the value area low, next place for price to go is at least the POC. You get the rejection, right? Sure, right? But once you get above this value area low and POC, where you're expecting price to go? The value area high. Very high probability setup there, right? So with that being said, right, like I don't want to give too many levels here, but I think these are important to keep an eye on, right? Because we haven't even gotten the golden pocket retracement yet. This would be nice to see. And again, once you hold above, as long as you hold above this value area low, these are going to be the key levels above. Flip the 786, you might be able to get the bigger move up to about 2,600. Now, in the grand scheme of things, right, the higher time frames, right, you could even hide some of these local levels, right? Let's go ahead and hide this stuff, right? We'll even hide the fibs. Right? You want to be aware of these levels, especially if you're a trader, because you could capitalize on a lot of these moves, right? All we need is a high probability reaction, right? We don't need the biggest move ever, right? So for this, right, we're just looking at this macro volume profile, right? And again, part of the reason I liked the idea of looking for longs down here is because of how big this level is, right? Like not only did you have the monthly naked point of control, this value area low is massive. This is from the 2021 bull market, right? So what happens? You flip this level to support, boom, you go to the POC, you go to the value area high. You wiggle around. Once you get accepted back into the range, you go back to the POC, back to the low, back above the POC, back to the high, deviation above, back into the range, back to the POC, back to the low. Could you see that full rotation? At the end of the day, when you're looking at this as a macro volume profile, that would be your hope, right? It doesn't guarantee it, right? It doesn't mean that you're guaranteed once you're above the low. We already got the move to the POC. Now, once we get above that POC, you could start your journey up towards that value area high. But I guess on Ethereum, it usually is a pretty quick ride up, right? You almost shot right up to the value area high in this case, right? You almost shot directly to the value area low in this case. You almost, you did bing bong around here for quite a bit before you got the huge rip up to your value area high. And this kind of was, in hindsight, it took a while, but it was pretty much a straight shot down. So, I usually say don't expect a straight shot to the upside. It's usually a journey. It's usually very confusing. It's very difficult to navigate, right? You're like, oh my God, no, we're losing the POC. Oh wait, no, we're back above it. Oh my God, nice move up. Oh my God, huge jump. Let's go, right? But at the end of the day, you could see that, regardless of the noise that you see on the way up, right, you do get those full fills of the range. So looking at this as a macro volume profile, hold the low. As long as you stay above this level, flip the POC, could start your journey up. Just, I wouldn't expect it to be a straight shot up. Now, it doesn't mean that we're guaranteed, right, just because we're at that value area low. We do have bullish confirmations, but at the end of the day, you look at the 2-day, money flows looking like garbage, right? We also... Nice thing that we have here is the 2-day bull div. I say this all the time. The 2-day bull divs are really nice for altcoins, right? And we do have a 2-day bull div here in like a pretty big way. Like your bodies is like super lower lows on your price action into the value area low. And even on your wicks here, you still have lower lows on your price action with that daily bull div, 2-day bull div confirmed, right? Last time we had a 2-day bull div, lower lows on your price action, higher lows on your momentum waves, right? Higher lows, mark it out for you. Lower lows, higher lows, right? What happens? You reclaim POC, bing bong around. By the way, this is brutal and boring to endure, but at the end of the day, you're holding that POC and you go up to the value area high, right? It looks really easy in hindsight, and it does play out like this, but you have to understand like the emotions that come in on these big dumps. You're like, oh, we're above the POC, and when you just see this red candle, you're like, oh my God, maybe we're not going to fill the profile, right? But then you get a bounce, and then you're like, oh wait, maybe we're not going to fill the profile, and then you get a big bounce, and you're like, oh my God, maybe we front ran the value area high. But more often than not, if you just sit on your hands, and hold through the noise, you do oftentimes get the fill of that range. So just keep that in mind. But 2-day bull div down here as well. Like, it doesn't guarantee that we come up, but like this is a better chance than any to potentially stay inside this range and get a bigger move up. Now, we can lose the lows. If we do, I didn't really want to talk about the lower levels on Ethereum, but I mean, if we just pull them up, let me actually just pull up all those local levels that I deleted, because I don't want to, I want everyone to understand that they're there, right? So the local levels are obviously important in case we don't hold the low, but, on a higher time frame, that's kind of what you'd be looking at. But if we come on over here to the lower time frames, or I'm sorry, the lower levels, I would be looking, right? Like you have a volume profile right here. It's a pretty nice profile. It's not huge, but, you could also obviously look. I don't like this because this is more of like a ascending triangle, right? You could pull it like a full profile here, right? I don't like that as much, right? You basically come to the low, go back to the POC, back to the high, back to the POC, back to the high, back to the POC, and then you break out. I would probably be more inclined to look at this as local levels. So I'll pull this as your volume profile. So we'll give these key levels on Ethereum. And I don't like to gatekeep when I see stuff coming, guys, right? Like I teach this stuff, so you guys can look for it as well. But I would say, if we wind up losing that major range low, this would be the next tangible volume profile that I can see. Let me see if I can extend this a little bit and still keep the levels relevant. Get it right before that bigger breakout here. So yeah, maybe even something like this. Come on, give me that level, bada boom, right? So if we wind up losing the range, right, and we'll go, on the market cipher B, and we'll talk about how it looks. But if we do wind up losing that, we can come down to that value area high, sitting at about 1938, right? Break below that 1938, your POC is sitting right here at 1848. You lose that POC at 1848, I'd be looking down towards the value area low, sitting at about 1644, guys. And that's the bearish scenario, right? I'm not saying we're definitely going down there. I'm just saying if you lose this range low, just understand, like, this is the next area of value. And I'll even mark this out. We'll do value area high so you guys can get these levels on your chart. If you do so, please. POC. And we got the value area low. So that is what I would be looking at to the downside. These are the key levels to the downside, right? Within the terms of the volume profile, not just key levels, but, what we would anticipate price action to do. If you get stuck underneath, it's high probability to go to the POC, right? You're probably going to get some turbulence around that POC, but once you get rejected, you're going to be looking back down towards the value area low. Just drop a little bit of that secret sauce there. We'll give it away for free. But yeah, that's what I'd be looking at to the downside. Now, taking a look at market cipher B, taking a look at the 4 hour. Let's check it. Come on. So yeah, very similar to Bitcoin. I'll be honest, like it's very similar, right? Even at the 4 hour bull div here. Come on, Ethereum, just hold the anchored VWAP. This is an honorable mention, anchored VWAP from the low here. We're playing around with this level. Once you break down below this, I think it's much more likely to come visit the lows here at about 2,100. But yeah, your 4 hour money flow trying to come back up, VWAP rolling back to the upside. It's attempting, but very similar to Bitcoin, right? You have the 30-minute red dot printing with the 30-minute money flow coming out. You have your 8 hour red dot looking to print here. You have that VWAP rolling over. Once that 8 hour red dot prints, you heard it here first, right? If that 8 hour red dot prints and that 30-minute money flow crosses into the red, let's check the 24-minute. 24-minute looking for the money flow crossover as well. Is that a blood diamond? I feel like that's a blood diamond. It is, unfortunately. Now, again, doesn't, you could do something like this, right? Not a guarantee that you're going to dump, but that money flow on the 24 and 30-minute crosses into the red with that 8 hour red dot, guys. The move down is going to be more likely, in my opinion. Where your next key levels, right? Obviously, anchored VWAP is going to be important, 2186. But below you have the value area low sitting at, value area low sitting at about $2,100, right? And then you have the tapped monthly naked point of control, which is now, typically I do take these off the chart, but I will leave it here just because it was freshly tapped. About $2,000 at the tapped monthly naked point of control. And I don't believe, do we have anything else down there? Let's see. I'm actually going to zoom out here a bit. Monthly MPOCs, weekly MPOCs, daily MPOCs. Yeah, nothing really down there other than that, right? So you lose, you start breaking out of the macro range. That is where, right? Like, again, that 30-minute money flow could cross over, give you the bigger dump down. But if you hold above the value area low, you could still be in business. Once you really start losing this, and let me just... I'll just mark this down to the tapped monthly. Once you start breaking down out of this volume profile and you can't get accepted back in, probably going to be more likely to come down between 1941 and 1851. You heard it here first. But hopefully that doesn't have to be the case, guys. Hopefully that doesn't have to be the case. The 8 hour red dot with the 30-minute money flow crossover, mark my words. We'll see what happens tomorrow, but if we get the move down, that's going to be the thing to look at. 24 and 30-minute money flow crossover on Bitcoin and Ethereum are going to be the big things to look at for that continuation down to start. Let's see. Let me check in on chat really quick. Shout out to Creighton C. Thank you for the super chat. Bro, showing love, bro. Showing love. I appreciate you so much, Creighton. He says, I'll be honest, viewers. You were doing great, but I could have used a few more likes, so let's do it again. And Frankie, this time, really explore the space. Take the hat off at 750 likes. I don't know. Like, I don't have the, I'll be honest, like, it's not a crazy haircut, guys. Not much different than my last one. It's just not a comb over anymore. But we'll see. Maybe we'll do a hair reveal. Maybe we'll do it. Shout out to Creighton C. Yeah, shout out to the dude says, we've pumped 3 times off the same tweets. We're like goldfish with amnesia. Shout out to the dude. I actually like that, bro. Yeah, it's if you're trading off of tweets, it's very, very difficult. It's very, very, typically, if you're trading based off of the news, you're too late, right? Like I said, I say this all the time. Like, we were even on Ethereum, even though we didn't see the sweep of liquidity down here, when we came down to this value area low the first time, when we got the first bounce, we did have some confirmation here at the value area low. You tapped a key level, you add bullish confirmation for a push at least into the POC, if not potentially higher, right? But that POC is going to be a high probability. You hold the value area low with confirmation, you're going to be looking for that POC, right? But where does that give you where are you looking for entries in that case? You're looking down here for the entry. If you're going off the news, where are you taking entries? Not even here, right? You're seeing the news, you see the pump, and then you're entering your longs up here, expecting this thing to go to all-time highs. And what happens? Absolutely destroyed, right? Even here, right? Let's say that we don't come back down to the lows on Ethereum and we get a big push up, right? We're looking for the longs down here. If you get a big news, right? Let's say the news event tomorrow pumps us and we don't come back down to the lows. Let's just say we rip from here, right? And you get a big pump. Where are you going to be entering your longs? On the move up, right? And it's very hard to catch the lows of those pumps, right? Typically, you're getting filled up way higher. And then what happens oftentimes? Even if you're going to continue the move up, you're going to get some kind of a pullback before sending it back to the upside. And that's what liquidates everybody. So, again, show me the charts. You're going to get a better entry than if you're trading the news, right? Entry on the charts was down here. Entry on the news, probably somewhere up here, to be quite honest. Even if you get lucky and you catch it up here, especially if you keep pushing up, you're thinking it's going to go way higher, and then you're like, oh, it'll continue up, and then they all get wrecked. So yeah, you definitely don't want to be trading off tweets. Like, if you're entering based off of somebody's tweets or something, I'm not saying that you're doing this, but just you saying it kind of brought it up. You're gonna get wrecked more often than not. I can promise, right? I thought this too, right? And I don't say it because I think I'm better or I'm smarter or anything like that, right? It's because I've gone through all this, right? Multiple times in multiple cycles, right? So yeah, let's see. It's called tweet trading. Shout out to Jungle Boy. Yeah, you got to be like super early on the tweet if you want to get a new and who knows, right? Maybe they're doing this on purpose, guys. I hate to say that there's like that much malice in the world, but especially in financial markets, right? Like, rip it up, send it up, and then nuke it back down. Set them up and liquidate. Set them up and liquidate. This is definitely something that we see happen. Sniff that hair. But anyway, let's continue on here. Let's see. DXY bleeding still? Yeah, shout out to Lucky's Thoughts. We actually just took a look at it. Yes, it is still bleeding, and that daily money flow is looking brutal. If this was Bitcoin, I would be up here being like, guys, I'm sorry, but this looks like we're going to do something like this, right? I don't want to say it, but I have to, right? But on the DXY, I could be like, woohoo! Let's go. DXY looks dumpy. Let's go. But we'll see. This is the most significant dump we've seen on the DXY in some time, right? Check out the weekly candles here, right? That's the biggest weekly candle, 3.5%. I mean, that's the biggest weekly candle we've seen in a while. Let me actually see this real quick. All right, just measure this. Let's see, bigger than that. Yeah, I mean, assuming it closes like this. I mean, even so. I don't know. This is the biggest weekly red candle we've seen in a while. So we'll keep an eye on it. But let's jump into Solana, guys. Get some of these alts out of the way. Hey, Rob the Crypto Snob. Let's do. If you guys want to see some alts, drop them in the chat. And Rob the Crypto Snob. Let's do like 2 or 3. 2 with an honorable mention. I'm gonna run through the main ones, and then we'll do the list. Yo, Frankie hides his secret sauce under the hat. It's not true, guys. It's not true. Is it showing? But anyway, let's continue on here. Calling 95K tomorrow. Shout out to the Trading Cove. I hope so. Question is, what will happen before that? But yeah, I hope so. That would be great for my Ethereum long. I would appreciate that. But let's go ahead and jump into Solana here. Bada boom, bada bing. All right, let's see. Solanzo. Am I on the wrong chart here? I think I'm on the wrong chart. Let's pull up Solanza, however you guys want to say it. What is good with these charts? Where is my TA? Did I delete my TA? Did Frankie Candles delete his Solana chart? We can't, because then we're not... Oh, there we go. Okay, I don't know why that wasn't showing up the first time. All right, so to be honest with you guys, Solana, it's just in the same situation as yesterday. I don't want to spend too much time on this because it's kind of the same thing. Key levels of resistance. I'm just looking fib pull from the high to the low. Golden pocket, 786. I like the 786 better because it's confluent with the value area high, right? Let's pull up the daily real quick. You have a daily here? No, your next daily is sitting. Yeah, you have a daily right here, actually, which I will mark. So yeah, I like the 786 a bit better just because it's confluent with the value area high, but technically the golden pocket 786 that you would want to get above in order to potentially get a move back into your upper range or towards your value area low of the upper range this is the fib, right? So, if we hold above the POC, we could potentially, right? You have a daily just above you right here. Yeah, so this is the daily this daily it just confirmed. So yeah, so fresh daily, like the freshest of fresh dailies that you could possibly have at 146.17. Hopefully you don't reject that, lose the POC. If you do, right, you're looking down towards the value area low, 126.77 to 124.94. Simply put. So that is, if you flip the daily, right, let's say you get above it, bada boom. Get the bigger push up, right? If you're above the POC, you could potentially work your way up towards this golden pocket 786. This would be a big level to potentially look for lower highs and continuations down. Why would I look for lower highs and continuations down? Well, it would just be based off the money flow here, right? Money flow in the red on the 2-day. Come on, 3-day money flow is trying to come back up. You have a green dot, so it is a little chop there, right? A little bit of check the daily. Yeah, daily VWAP looking to come down. So we'll see, right? You print that daily red dot and start pushing below this POC. Key levels, 126.71 to 124.94. Simply put, right? Come down there. Potentially look for longs. If you get above the daily, flip it to support. That opens up your, those are the two key levels, right? So key resistance, 160.90 to 169.58. If we did come up there, I would be willing to look for potential bearish confirmations. I don't really trade Solana, but I'm saying in the case of me trading Solana, I would be looking for that, right? If we could find some bearish confirmations in here, you can look for a move, right? Especially if you deviate above the highs, right? Looking for shorts at the value area high and longs at the value area low. So if we came up here, I'd be interested in potential shorts. And if we came down here, I'd be interested in potential longs. Now, you might say to yourself, well, what if we're going to break out into the upper range? Why would you look for shorts up here? Looking for shorts is different than taking shorts, right? Like I would look for shorts. If I don't get confirmations here, just like on Bitcoin, right? Last night I said I'm very tempted to take a short on Bitcoin, right? But I didn't really get the confirmations that I wanted. So what do? I do not take the short. And even if you do take the short, right? Like if you get stopped out for a small loss, you could just wait for the next setup. But in my opinion, once you start getting above that golden pocket, I'm sitting on my hands waiting for the 786. And unfortunately, wound up happening at 1 a.m, right? So that kind of stinks. But better than, taking a trade here and getting stopped out. If there's no trade to be had, you sit on your hands and wait for the actual setup to present itself. If the setup is there, that's where you take the trade. There was a setup here. You take the trade, and more often than not, it will go in your favor. So going back to Solana. Come on. There we go. So yeah, that's what I'd be looking at, right? Like I don't really like longing at the POC, right? Like if I were to long, I'd be longing from the value area low into the POC up to the high. If I'm looking for shorts, I'm shorting above the high. Get back in, back to the POC. You front ran the low. This is what makes me curious of, are we more likely to go to the value area low? Well, based off the volume profile, we went value area high, POC. We didn't hit the low yet, right? And oftentimes, right, last time we came in, and this is on any asset, you get into the range, you go to the POC, you front run the low, right? You front run the low. More often than not, you will come tap that value area low. So are we in a similar situation here where you come down to the POC, you play around with it, try to get back above, then you go back to below, right? But eventually, right, we came back above here, still went down to the low. Come back up here, might still come down to the low. So based off the loss of the volume profile, value area low, POC, value area high, POC, value area low, I'd much rather take a long from that value area low. But at the end of the day, right, it is possible to bounce off the POC, right? I just don't like to long here because you could easily get a push up and then lose the POC just like this, right? You would have been like, oh, I'm going to long here. Boop, 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 right? And you just would have been much better off taking this huge long rather than trying to take a stab here, getting stopped out, trying to take a stab here, getting stopped out. Why not just sit all those little trades out and wait for the big mama, right? Wait for the big candle, guys. The big, oh, man, I just almost made a hand signal that was the wrong hand signal. I was going to reference a large candle with my arm, but it's usually, anyway. Continuing on here. So I would just rather wait for shorts up here, longs down here. If we come up here and there's no confirmations, I would look for the bigger breakout into your upper value area. And just very similar to Bitcoin, guys. Solana is in its value area. We have a value area below. Once you impulse out of this range, you're looking to get accepted and attracted to your previous volume profile, which is exactly what happened. And that is a very similar situation to what we have on Bitcoin, with our value area up here and our value area down here. So just when I bring this up, I'm not saying we're definitely going down there. I'm just saying, like, that's typically how volume profiles trade, right? And you just see on a lot of the altcoins, we've done that, right? You lose your upper value, you're probably going to go for your lower value, right? These act as magnets for price, specifically the POC being the strongest magnet within the profile. So there we go. That's what I would be looking at on Solana. Let's see. Let's check chat real quick. Yo, shout out to CJ, said leave the arm for Mrs. Candles. What did I do? What did I do? Oh, God. Bada boom, bada bing. Flash your big candles, y'all. Shout out to Dr. MTG. Good Lord. Good Lord. Let's see. All right, so we took a look at Solana. We took a look at the DXY. We took a look at Bitcoin. We took a look at ETH. Let's take a look at Cardano. We took a look at Cardano yesterday just because it was part of that news, and it did get a big move. I'm going to take a look at Cardano and XRP, and then let's take a look at thank you, Dave. Butthole Trump coin. Fart, butthole, and Trump. That's what we're going to be looking at for the altcoins. Shout out to Dave. Thank you, Darren, for the alt list, the actual alt list. Maybe we could take a look at Butthole Coin, see how it's doing. But yeah, we'll take those. And then, Sin City Crypto in the chat. What is going on, guys? Welcome in. Thank you for being here. I appreciate you guys for stopping by. Oh God. What? Oh no. Was this a good alert or the bad alert? This was the good alert. Okay, there we go. Getting the pump to the upside here. All right, she's pushing. Come on, baby. Invalidate that 30-minute money flow. Come on. Let's get it. Shout out to Sin City. Hey, Sin City enters the chat, and we get a little bullish alert there. Let's go. Shout out to Sin City. Good to see you guys. Hey, you guys are in Vegas, right? I'm positive of that. So I assume you guys are going to be at the conference. I can't wait to see you guys. Hopefully we can have some time to hang out. Maybe we'll go get some dinner or something. Shout out to Sin City. I appreciate you guys. Push harder, baby. Push harder. Shout out to Sin City. But yeah, let's go ahead and let's continue on. Thoughts on the daily close. Let's check that daily candle. Doji. That daily is definitely a doji. So indecision, which is great. That's great, right? That's what we love. Total indecision. No clear signals at all. So yeah, just, oh God, it's getting eaten up. Come on. Push it, baby. Somebody pump this thing. Come on, Golden. Send it to $1 million. Come on. Let's see. All right, so let's continue on here. Bada boom, bada bing. Let's see. Any other coins? We'll take a look at Solana. We took a look at Solana. We'll take a look at Cardano. We'll take a look at XRP. Take a look at Golden Swan. Are we getting a Golden Swan? Oh, God. Bearish wick here. Oh, God. Bearish wick. Oh, come on. Push it. Money flow on the 12-minute, push into the upside. I know we don't have a green dot on the 4-hour, but it is pushing up. Come on. 4-hour money flow, guys. Look at the 4-hour money flow. Please, for the love of God. Give it to us. Please give it to us. Please. All right. So let's see. I should make sure I didn't miss anything. Yeah, so daily close, I would say, is, pretty much just a doji. Not a ton to take away from that, unfortunately. ADA, we'll take a look at ADA. Maybe Caspa. We haven't taken a look at Caspa in quite some time. Let's take a look here. Oh, man. That is not good. Oh, God. The volatility is already here, guys. The volatility is already starting. Head and shoulders. It's going to 0. All right, let's continue on here. Let's take a look at Cardano. We'll let this kind of work itself out. We're going to get the bullish case and the bearish case to play out at the same time. Bullish alert, bearish alert. Yikes. Let me just check the lower time frames here real quick. Yeah, I'm not going to lie, guys. I'm not going to lie. 7-8, sweep of the 786. Yikes. Ethereum getting the push down, breaking the lows. Good Lord. I don't know. That 8-hour 30-minute is not looking great. Oh, man. Right after the daily close, too. Sweep of the highs. Oh, man. Not liking it, guys. Not liking it. Not liking it. But hey, that 24-minute money flow is pointing towards it. Good Lord. Good Lord. Definitely not good. Are we going for that 76K liquidity? Man, I hope not. Man, I hope not. Huh. Volatility incoming. We knew it. We knew it. But anyway, let's check out Cardano real quick. And then Orange Man in control. Good Lord. She's dumping. She's dumping. All right. So, yeah, take a look at Cardano here. Your key level to support, doorway to lower prices. Very simply put, 81.40. Yeah, 81.40, but 81 cents pretty much, right? That's your next key level. We might see this right now. We might see this right now. Good Lord. Good Lord. She is damping. She's damping. Oh, man. Oh, man. Oh, man. Now we're back below the VWAP. Man. Let's zoom in here a bit. Yikes. Man, I did not think we were going to get that volatility live. But hey, I'll take it. I will take it. 52 million in volume. Damn. All right. Well, let's continue on here with Cardano. Just trying to keep a live eye on this. Bada boom, bada bing. Where we at? Where we at? Where we at? Boom. Okay. So, yeah, key level support, right? If you continue dumping down here, and again, fast move up, fast move down. Makes sense. But yeah, 81 cents is your next value area high. Doorway to lower prices. If you are to break down in here, hold it as resistance, right? Can't get back above. POC sitting at 76 cents. Lose 76 cents. Look for the... oh, baby, rip it. Hang on one second. Any news? Fake out, everyone. Dump. Let's see. That looked coordinated. Yeah, that did. Yeah, massive shorts. Trump signed the reserve bill. It's all going to zero. Oh, my God, we're going to zero. Oh, God. But, yeah, did we get news? Yeah, I didn't think the volatility was going to start that fast, to be quite honest with you guys. Sign the bill. Buy the rumor, sell the news. Buy the rumor, sell the news. Oh, my God. Yeah, maybe this is the, the pumps and the dumps, guys. The pumps and the dumps. This is a manipulated market. Bitcoin to zero. Let's go. Wow, that's wild. He signed a bill and everything dropped. So dumb. Yeah. I mean, this is why you don't want to, go back to the beginning of the stream and watch, guys. It's, oh, God, we're breaking. And there we go. We got the bullish and the bearish alerts to go off here, guys. Unbelievable. Is that 24-minute money flow? I mean, hey, guys, is it the 24-minute with the 8-hour red dot printing? Or is it the news? What is it? There is a live example of front-running a move, right? Or the move front-running the news. Did we dump because of the news, or did we dump because there was a bearish sign on the charts? I think the answer to the question is both, right? But this is what I mean, right? Obviously, the dump starts as you get the news. However, did we not just see this sign on the chart? A lot of people get very confused by how could it be possible that if you show me the charts, I tell you the news. There's a live example of it, right? Like this is why you want to trade the charts, because not only, right, and this is the example I was just showing, right? If you were, say you were just to randomly short, I wouldn't recommend this, but let's just say you were going to short just off that money flow crossover. If you want, and honestly, it's not a bad way to trade, honestly. If you could just front run that last little quarter of the money flow in anticipation, trying to front run that money flow crossover into the red, where would you have been entering a short? You would have been entering it up here. If you were going to short the news, where would you be shorting? You'd be shorting right here. Now, could you be shorting here and get into massive profit if it continues to dump? Maybe, right? Or is a retracement going to be more likely, right? And this is why when I look for shorts, I'd rather short on a retracement, not on the move down. And again, I'm not saying you can't just continue to nuke here, but more often than not, right? You don't want to short as price is dumping. You want to wait for the retracement. And again, where are we rejecting from? Perfect learning opportunity, guys. Golden pocket 786 retracement. That is the area where you would be putting in the lower high to break structure to the downside. Go rewind the stream and watch the beginning, guys. And what happens? Boom. Money flow's calling for it. Market structure was calling for it. And the bearish retest of that 786 was calling for it. Everyone gets super excited. Boom. Dump it on them. Market manipulation. Unbelievable. Absolutely unbelievable. Why does it dump? 100% probably manipulation. But when you ask me, what, like, if you go back to the, and again, just go back to the beginning of the stream, why do I think it dumped? In my eyes, right? Obviously, the news has something to do with it. But in my eyes, why would I be expecting the move to the downside? Why was I worried for the dump earlier in the stream? It was based off this 24-minute money flow crossing into the red with the 8-hour red dot about to print. Now we have the 8-hour red dot printing, and that 24-minute money flow is about to cross over into the red, which would indicate a continuation of the downtrend. Lower high, lower low, lower high, lower low, lower high, lower low, lower high. That's where you look for the breaker structure of the downside. I drew this exact line, why I would anticipate it potentially happening, right? And why I would lean towards that happening, right? It's just based off the technicals, right? And again, we were talking about that right here before the news came out. And now everybody is sending this thing to zero. Sell your, it's the bear market, guys. I'm just kidding. But yeah, so hopefully that makes sense. Hopefully that can explain that to some of you guys. But yeah, there we go. We'll see what happens. But yeah, let me just jump back into Cardano. And we'll see. Yeah, we might see this level tapped live on stream. But this is what I would look at on Cardano. 81 cents is your next key level. Break below that level. Look for the POC to get tapped, 76. Lose that, bring it back down to 70 cents, essentially, right? That's your volume profile. Doorway to lower prices at your value area high. POC, where's it at? POC sitting at 76 cents. And your value area low sitting at 71 cents. So we'll see. I'll set an alert here to see if it gets tapped. Man, I thought we were going to get one or the other. I didn't think we were going to get both alerts to go off. That's pretty crazy. Yeah, isn't this amazing news? I mean, yeah, it's, like I said, it's amazing news, but, amazing news doesn't just always equate to Lambo candle. And please, if you guys just tuned in, just go watch from the beginning of the stream because this is perfect, right? Like, I explain, like, how to handle these news events and why I handle them this way with the charts, right? I do it for a reason. Like, if you were, just go watch the beginning of the stream. I highly recommend it. Usually I would say, like, it's outdated information, but go watch it. You can learn a lot about why we stick to the charts and we don't listen to the news, right? And it just played out in real time. Please, for the love of God, go watch that. But let's see. I mean, this could be very, very volatile, right? Like maybe we get the dump and then we get a snap tap back to the upside. But I'll be honest, that 30-minute and 24-minute money flow is the biggest warning sign in my own personal opinion. So, we'll see what happens. We'll see what happens. But, yeah, the TA playing out beautifully. This is why we stick to the charts. But, yeah, it's amazing news. But like I said earlier in the stream, right, it would just be so easy, right? Like, you have to think, you want to counter trade the herd, right? Most people, you want to think of what the new people would think, right? Or like retail, right? Or dumb money. We are dumb money, right? When I reference dumb money, I mean people who are trading not with institutional money. And, what happens when someone sees a tweet, right? Why we don't trade tweets, right? Like someone says, oh my God, they just signed a big, big crypto bill, whatever the news is, regardless of what it is. If it's bullish, right, wouldn't it just be too easy to be like, oh my God, they signed the bill, buy Bitcoin, it's going to go up to all-time highs, we're going to become millionaires. That's just too easy, right? You would just like, it would just be too easy, right? That's not how the markets work. The markets are very hard to navigate. It's very hard to make money in the markets, unless you're using TA like we do here on this YouTube channel. But yeah, it's it's crazy, man. That's crazy. It literally played out in real time. Gotta love it. Gotta love it. I just don't understand. Shout out to BM. Hopefully that helps you understand. It's just, you have to think about it, right? Like, especially when people first get into market, like any kind of market, right? They just think like, oh, when it goes up, I'll buy. When it goes down, I'll sell. That's why people think I'm crazy when I say I look for longs on dumps and I look for shorts on pumps, right? Like, that's just how it works, right? For the most part, right? Like, again, like, can you potentially look for, can you hop in on a big move up and make some money? Maybe, right? But it's just much more risky because oftentimes you'll have a situation like this, right? Boop. Right? Massive move up. Oh my God. Buy, buy, buy. Boop. Oh my God. Massive move up. Buy, buy, buy. Boop. Right? And yeah, we might hit this level live. But yeah, there we go. That's what I'd be looking at on Cardano. Shout out to Cliff. He said, you saw the David Sachs tweet. I did not. Yo, shout out to BK. Said, Frankie, I just made hefty profit on a short open 15 minutes ago. Should I cash out? I mean, if you're in the green, the answer to cashing out is never no, right? Yeah, I mean, yeah, if you're up money and you want to make money, you got to pay yourself, right? And if you, let's say you are up on a short, let's say you shorted Cardano here and you're up massively and you take profits and then it goes down more, that's fine. You still made money, right? You're never going to be able to predict every single move. You got to pay yourself when you're in the green. What I would do personally is take profit, right? Move your stop loss to entry, right? And then you're in a risk-free trade, right? If you're up here, if you're in up here and you're up in massive profit here, take some off the table here, move your stop loss to break even, making it a risk-free trade. If you get stopped out, you get stopped out in profit. Maybe even move your stop loss into profit. If you retrace, you'll get stopped out for more profit, right? But what I wouldn't do, and again, like maybe this is the start of a massive, massive dump, right? But you can't worry about those missed gains. Missed gains are none of your business. It's the best way I could put it, right? If you worry about missed gains, you have to worry about every time you don't hit the lottery. It's like, oh man, like I could have won the lottery last week. Oh man, I could have won the lottery last week. It's like, no, but you got to play to win, right? So yeah, I would tell, me personally, I like to take partial profits and move my stop loss to break even that way, right? If you move it to break even here and price retraces and continues down, you can continue to capitalize on a portion of that position. But if it just reverses heavily and you get a massive rip to the upside, you stop out for profit as well. So yeah. Let's see. Okay, so let's take a look at. Took a look at Cardano. I lost the real alt list. Somebody pin the fart coin in Trump. Took a look at Solana. Took a look at Cardano. Let's take a look at XRP real quick. Oof. And again, at the end of the day, right? Like, is this the biggest move down? No, it's a pretty aggressive move down in one shot. But I mean, this is why we short at value area highs, right? This was your golden pocket 786 retracement. You deviate above the high. I don't know if you had what kind of confirmations you had here on the lower time frames, if you did, but you get back into the range. Where'd you go? In real time, where'd we go? Right to the POC, right? But for the most part, I mean, you're back within your range now, right? If you can't get out of here, right? If you can't break out of that value area high and send it, right? I would expect to wiggle around in this range. Lose the POC, you could be open for a move back down to the value area low, which is a level that we looked at yesterday, being a 786. I believe this is the current. Yeah, this is the 786. We got the bounce here, I believe, off the golden pocket. Let me just check this real quick. Yeah, so that first bounce, right? We got the move up, bounced off the golden pocket, rejected the value area high. If we do continue down, I would simply be looking at 217 down to about 214 for XRP, right? Get the bigger drop down. This would be the next likely place for price to go, especially not only when you lose the POC would you expect the value area low, but when you lose that golden pocket, right, which again was sitting right here, you lose that golden pocket, you're expecting the 786 anyway. So if you do continue down and you don't just, rip to the upside here, which probably a fib level here, probably a golden pocket. No, your golden pocket's still sitting below. So yeah, I would say you lose that POC, you're definitely opening the door to come down to that macro, bigger 786 value area low. So we'll see. See if that volume profile plays out. Yikes. Can't say that the signs weren't there, though. Can't say the signs weren't there. I don't think it's Trump shorting just people who know what's coming. Whales. Hang on a second. Golden said mwahaha. Golden? Are you responsible for this, Golden? Shout out to Golden. Golden just dumped on everybody. I'm just kidding. Shout out to Golden. Thank you for the super chat, Golden. Speaking of the devil. Said, check your DMs. I told you Sunday. I know, I've been absolutely super crazy. Shout out to Golden. I will check my DMs. I'll check them tonight, bro. Dang. I swear, if I check those DMs, and he knew about this. Golden's just in his private jet, shorting Bitcoin. Let's go. Shout out to Golden, bro. Let's see. Shout out to Istophobic, said Crow is just ignoring the end of the world. Yo, what the heck? Interesting. Somebody knows something. Yeah, weird, guys. Listen, when you invite the institutions, guys, you invite the manipulation, which is, in my opinion, what we're seeing here. Definitely manipulation, some kind of manipulation. But again, we can spot that on the charts. And again, if you don't think that's possible, scrub back to the beginning of the stream and see what we were looking at. Oh my God, he sent me a picture. Shout out to Golden. Sent me a picture. It's just a picture of a $350 million short. Oh, God. But anyway, let's continue on. Yeah, crypto didn't have a choice. I agree with that. If you want the institutions in, it's a bittersweet situation. You want regulation. That's not great for a lot of crypto bros, right? Like a lot of crypto people don't want regulation. It's part of the whole crypto movement. I get it. I'm part of it, right? But if you want big money, you need regulation. If you have regulation, it invites in the institutions. If you invite in the institutions and that big money, it invites the manipulation. Yikes. Let's see. Okay, so let's continue on here. Dead cat bounce incoming. Shout out to Ed. Money flow would point towards that for sure. But yeah, let's go ahead and move on here. Coinbase and OTC in bed with BlackRock now. Of course, we're gonna poo the bed until they're accumulated enough. Yeah, and what better way to do it than artificial pumps? What better way to fake people out with these artificial pumps? Pump it, dump it, pump it, dump it. But all I see here, guys, again, just to hammer this home, it's in my opinion, the simplest thing to do is to just stick to the charts, right? Like I have no idea how happy I am that like I kind of detach myself from the news. Now, it doesn't mean I don't pay attention to the news. It doesn't mean that I don't know what's going on. Obviously, you want to keep up to date. However, at the end of the day, what do we look at here, right? We're just simply looking at market structure, right? We've already, I'll come up to a 4-hour, right? We've already rejected shout out to anybody who watched the market update on Sunday, right? Not this one, sorry. This fib, right? This was our first major area to potentially put in a lower high. We didn't break the low, but as we were coming up yesterday, we were rejecting another key level that we came up to right after the stream finished, which was the local Golden Pocket 786. This is not good, right? This is more pointing towards downside, right? We're just putting a lower high, right? We didn't make the lower low, but if we can't make the breakout here, right? Lower low, lower high, potentially going to break that structure to the downside, which that first scenario that we looked at in the beginning of the stream may be the case. Maybe we're going back down to 76K. We'll have to see what happens. But again, this is all, why are we looking at the rejection here? You don't have to time it with like, oh, when is he going to tweet? When is he going to tweet? Just pay attention to the charts. You come up to the Golden Pocket 786, high probability of a lower high. That's your resistance level. And then as you interact with this, are you looking for a short? Probably. Why? Because the 30-minute money flow and 24-minute money flow is crossing over into the red with the 8-hour red dot. Markets FRB 116 strategy, right? So then you don't have to pay attention to the news. If you caught a short up here, you get the assistance of the dump, but you enter in up here. You're not entering in on the news, right? So again, like we didn't know that it was going to dump because he was going to tweet, right? But we knew if this was going to make a lower high here, and we were able to see that 24-minute money flow continue to the downside, you were going to see a dump, right? And then you just fill in the blanks with whatever that news is. I don't care if this was a tweet from Trump, or if this was a hack, or if this was whatever, right? It doesn't matter, right? Because we're just trading the chart. The charts are agnostic. The charts are unbiased. So yeah, I mean, I will shill. The only thing I will really shill to the death of me is technical analysis and focusing on the charts and the charts mostly, right? So yeah, still need to fill the gap at 77K. Yeah, we still have that unfilled gap. Yeah, that's what we talked about in the beginning of the stream. Like I said, scrub back to the beginning of the stream, guys. It's still new enough that it's relevant levels, relevant TA. But yeah, go check it. Go check it. You will zoom 69K, zoom 69K. I don't know exactly what that means. Or just you're saying just rip right down to 69K? Maybe. I would definitely be paying attention to that 786. We'll see. She's not holding up great, though, right now. She's definitely not holding up great. Yikes. There she goes. 24 minutes got to be in the red at this point. There it is, guys. There it is. 24-minute money flow crossover. 8-hour red dot. Showing its face. Showing its face. Yikes. Yeah, the views are so bullish after the dump. Yeah. Tom Lee said it'll trend down to 62K. Maybe. Okay, so let's go ahead and continue on here. Again, I did lose the original massive manipulation. Yeah, I would agree with that. Still not believing that will go to 69K. No, I believe you can go to 69K. I mean, I don't think it's going to happen tomorrow or today. But yeah, I mean, if you go back to the beginning of the stream, I think we have some key levels at 69K, right? But I don't think, I don't think that it's just going to dump from here in a straight line down to 69K. That would be very unlikely. But yeah, no, I definitely 100% do not think 69K is off the table at all. We talked about the lower levels before. I don't know if that's what we were saying, but if it is, just understand we are 100% open to that happening. 2-day money flow crossover, right? Like, for the most part, right? That 2-day money flow cross is over, guys. Go watch the beginning of the stream. You break out of your range, right? You can't make it up. Bearish retest. We just talked about this, right? Is this going to be a bigger lower high before coming and sweeping that liquidity down into 76K before another bounce? Maybe. Is that bounce going to be the bounce to all-time highs? It could be, but if it's not, and you put in another lower high and continue your trend to the downside, once you start losing 71K, 72K, you're definitely at risk of coming down into your lower range, which, by the way, let's pull it up, right? These are the lower levels, right? Golden pocket, very simple. Golden pocket, value area high. This comes very close to 69K, right? More like 70K. You lose the value area high, POC at 67, 267 is on the table. And if you watch, maybe 60K is in the cards, right? If it gets real bearish, 60K is in the cards. So, but we'll cross that bridge when we get there, right? Like, as of right now, the key support down, but we have key support down below, right? So we can't just like call 69K right this second. I think it makes sense, right? This will be a macro golden pocket retracement. If this 786 doesn't hold, 69K is definitely on the table. It's the next key level. But I just don't think it's definitely not gonna. I would assume, right? Like, very unlikely that it's just one daily candle that brings you down there. All right, let's see. Shout out to Golden. Thank you for the super chat, bro. He said, I sent you a picture on Sunday of what just happened. Check it out. I dare you. Shout out to Golden. I will check this. I can't, due to Frankie Candle's policy, I cannot show Discord messages on stream, unfortunately. But maybe I can screenshot it. Hang on, let me check. Hold up. Oh, God. Hang on. Oh, wait. Hang on a second. I might. Shout out to Golden. Let's go. Yo, shout out to Golden, bro. Hang on, let me check these as well. Okay. Oh, you sent it in the group. Okay. Shout out to Golden, bro. I might bring this up. I'm not gonna bring it up right this second, but I'm gonna try to look at that. I might bring it up tomorrow. That's crazy. Shout out to Golden. Golden, who are you? I've actually met Golden on video, but crypto is self-destructing. Shout out to Gordon. Who is Golden? Shout out to Daniel. Golden is can't show the Discord because Tony D and Rick rolls. Yeah. No, shout out to anybody who's been watching my channel for a while. If you were in the stream that made us stop bringing up Discord messages, not that I think Golden would ever do anything like that to us. We just made a policy hard not showing live messages on Discord ever. It was pretty crazy. He's Larry Fink. Shout out to Golden. Shout out to Psychedelic Astronaut. Said if you faded something that he sent you, you could have warned us. Shout out to Psychedelic Astronaut. No, I just saw it for the first time right now because I never check my DMs. I'm so behind on my DMs. But no, I would have obviously said something. Okay, let me just double check here. Let's see. Shout out to Creighton C. Thank you for the super chat. Said, You need to keep an eye on what Golden sends you. Even the thing picks. In fact, feel free to share. Hey, shout out to Crane C. Let's go, baby. Let's go. Let's see. Shout out to Young Money. Thank you for the super chat. Said, can you tell me a few time frames that you use for money flow, like you just explained, 24-minute, 8-hour put together? Yeah, the main ones that I look at are it's really the 30-minute and the 8-hour red dot, 30-minute money flow crossover, or the other way around with green dots and money flow crosses over into the green. 24-minute just front runs the 30-minute oftentimes. That's why I look at the 24-minute, because that 24-minute is always going to cross over before the 30-minute, right? That 24 minutes now crossing over. If you go to the 30-minute, it's probably not crossed over yet. Yeah, so that's why I look at the 24-minute. And that's how we were able to front run that move, right? That's how we knew that it was probably going to come in. There you go. Again, if you just tuned in, go to the beginning of the stream, watch it all the way through. It's going to help you a lot, especially if you want to learn. So yeah, 8-hour, 30-minute, 4-hour, 15-minute, and the daily and 90-minute are usually the three major pairs that I look at. You could look at a bunch of other ones, but those are kind of the main time frames that I look at. Ducked out. What did I miss? Show the chair. Shout out to Ash. Oh God, did you miss something? You definitely missed. You missed the big old dump here. Let's see. This market is not for the weak. Absolutely. What about Ethereum? We actually just did Ethereum. If you scrub back, we did full TA on Ethereum. Bro, I'm selling everything. Panic sell. Shout out to Alan Watts. Hey, shout out to Alan Watts. Let's see. Bada boom, bada bing. Right now, executive order of Trump for BTC reserve. Why are we dumping? Shout out to Mensch. Just scrub back a little bit. I go back to the beginning of the stream. Watch if you want to know why Bitcoin dumped, just scrub back to the beginning of the stream and watch what we were looking for. If you want my take on it from a technical aspect, go to the beginning of the stream, watch it all the way through, and we will explain what we were looking at on Bitcoin, why we were a little worried about that money flow crossover, and then all of a sudden, randomly, there was a tweet that came out and it dumped. A perfect example. Like, I highly recommend you watch this whole stream, guys. It was a live. Show me the charts, I'll tell you the news. 100%. Let's see. Yeah, shout out to Gordon. There you go. There's your answer. Okay, so there you go. So if you're curious on why we dumped, just scrub back to the beginning of the stream, and I pretty much don't not only explain it from a technical standpoint, but I explain to it why it oftentimes causes dumps. So there we go. Yeah, it's just the narrative. Exactly, Gordon. Exactly. Yeah, Trump is acquiring BTC. Yeah, I mean, you would think he would probably want to acquire it a little bit lower. But again, right, like I'm not saying this can't start a bigger dump. But just remember, guys, like these are prices like 85.8, right? Like we were here like a few days ago, right? Like it's not like we just dumped down to like new macro lows or anything. And again, I'm not saying it can't be the start. I'm just saying like this dump is yeah. I'm actually glad that we've been looking at what we looked at because this all go back and watch the beginning of the stream. You can't make it up. The signs were on the chart. But anyway, let's continue on. We took a look at XRP. We took a look at Solana. We took a look at Cardano. We took a look at Ethereum. We took a look at DXY. Take a quick look at, yeah, yikes. Total 3. We won't even check on that. But yeah, shout out to Darren. Darren, could you drop those altcoins again? Somebody pinned the fart coin. I could actually take a look at Trump. Trump coin dumping just as well. Let's see. Yeah, pure manipulation. Shout out to Golden. I would agree. Everyone is losing their, yeah, please learn to proofread. Shout out to Darren Does Things. Quick dump now equals quick pump later. Yeah, we'll see. Manipulation will do that. Imagine if tomorrow it's a nothing burger and the market is waiting for big news, 79K incoming. Yeah. And then 66K BTC. 66K. I mean, yeah, 60K is the value area low of the lower range. And again, I talked about this before with the volume profiles and just the idea of trading auction market theory, right? You have your value area up here. Let me hide some of the other levels to make it a little bit easier to look at. Whoops. Day trades. And no, we don't want that. We want lower support and our macro range. I'll hide the daily naked points of controls, and we will pull up the current volume profile. These are your two volume profiles. This is what I explained at the beginning of the stream. And again, please go back and watch it. Doesn't matter. Like, I'm not doing that for views. I'm doing that to explain. This is all stuff we already looked at. But go watch the beginning of the stream. But I will just say, this is one value area. This is another value area, right? The reason the 786 is so important is because obviously, when we break out of a volume profile, this might not be obvious to a lot of people. When you break out of a volume profile, price range is 80% of the time. When you impulse out of a range, you are going to expect price to either find new value or more often than not, it will go seek previous value. So this is one value area. This is your second value area. Once you lose this range, right, we've already broken down out, swept the liquidity. This bearish retest on the range could be very bearish, right? Because this would mean, especially with the 2-day money flow coming to the downside, right? This is why we've been this could cause a lot more downside and a lot more pain. This is why, number one, we were talking about 80K, right, when everyone else wanted to rip to the upside. And this is why we're looking down towards the 786. I don't want to say everybody's looking for upside right now, but this is why we're looking at the 786, right, sitting at 75 to 76K. This is very important, right, because if we don't bounce here in a huge way, right, this is definitely an area where a higher low on the higher time frames could come in to give us a bigger bounce out of here. However, right, this is one of the scenarios we looked at. Sweep the liquidity below the lows, boom, send it, right? But if you don't get that, right, money flow's not shaping up, and we just put another lower high and another lower low, you impulse out of this range, you are going to seek previous value. That previous value is technically sitting between 70K, right, almost 69K, but 70K all the way down to 60K, right? Because if we lose that 786 and we do not get saved here, and we lose that 786, golden pocket, key level of support, once you start breaking below this, POC is going to be likely sitting at 67.3. Lose that POC, going to be looking down towards the value area low, getting closer to between $61,800 and $60,000. This is how the volume profiles work, right? Go back to the beginning of the stream, and I show you other things, other situations where this has happened absolutely perfectly, right? It happens all the time. It's just the way the market moves. So, yeah, definitely open to those lower prices. Been open to them for quite some time. So, yeah. But we definitely do have key support down below. That's why, I really don't want to mess around with this, because if this doesn't hold, I don't want to have to call for 60K. I'm not calling for it guaranteed right now. It's impossible to call for this guaranteed right now. But it's definitely in the cards if we lose that 786. So there you go. But let's see. It's no longer a free market, fam. That's it. Enter manipulation here. This market is wacky. Yeah, 100%. Which anchored VWAP indicator do you use? I can't seem to find that one to allow me to anchor the VWAP to pivots like you or to points like you. Yeah, so this is just anchored VWAP. Anchored VWAP, go ahead and click that. You should be able to select any candle. And then I just turn off the bar multipliers, right? So if you come into your settings, right, it usually comes on with these band multipliers, right? So yours will probably look something like that with a bunch of lines. I just turn these off, right? And I just look at this one. So there you go. Let's see. Is it the government manipulating for lower prices? Yeah, I mean, hard to confirm, but definitely a plausible thought. Yo, Michael says it dumped while on stream is crazy work. Yeah, shout out to Michael. If you heard what we were talking about in the beginning of the stream, it's even crazier work. But anyway, let's continue on. No. Shout out to Creighton C, bro. Thank you for so many super chats, bro. The bill is for the stockpile, which is seized assets, not reserve. Shout out to Creighton. Yeah, I don't know. Istophobic, thank you for the super chat, bro. He says, no, serious, Frank, Crow is pumping. Crow is just sending it. Yeah, she's pumping. She's definitely pumping. Huh. They're dumping Bitcoin and buying Crow, apparently. That's the meta. But yeah, I mean, let me see. Do we have a Crow chart? We could try to take a look at Crow here. I thought I had a Crow chart. It's the KuCoin chart, maybe? No. Oh, I'm on the wrong template. Bear with me here, guys. Try to find my actual crow chart. I know we have a crow chart somewhere. There it is. Yeah, this is old. Well, let's get rid of some of this stuff. Clean up the chart. Let's pull up a higher time frame. So, yeah, I mean, I'd probably be looking at a couple of volume profiles here. However, you got your... Yeah, I mean, you're back down in this macro volume profile. I would argue that you're kind of starting a new one here, but this, I'm going to get rid of this. That's old. Well, you can see we got accepted back into this volume profile. At the end of the day, guys, if you're looking at this previous profile for Crow, right, it's nice to see the pump, but let's take a look at some of these higher time frames. I'm not gonna lie, it makes me feel a lot better. I mean, not that this is not that this is like a significantly like super crazy dump or anything. Just this first move that we're seeing could turn into a much bigger dump, obviously. But if this turns into the bigger dump, guys, it's very validating for me because we've been looking at the 2-day money flow coming out forever. And not a lot of people like to hear that price is going to continue down. But every time we see this, if this big move down continues, just like we saw the drop to 80K, I've been looking for that forever. And I'm glad I bring them up, right? Because a lot of people don't want to hear that. They think it's impossible. When we're pumping and we call for a lower level, a lot of people will be like, that's stupid. You're an idiot. We're pumping. This guy doesn't know what he's doing. It just takes time, right? Eventually you get down to that level and it's like, it's super validating. So we see that bigger drop down to the 786. It'd be super validating to me. But, again, it's not about being right 100% of the time. It's just about reading the charts and figuring out what's most likely. And again, beginning of the stream, we'll show you guys exactly what we looked at to see this dump to the downside. And it happens in real life. Anyway, you can also look at this as some kind of a volume profile right here. But yeah, this bigger range, I would say, like, keep in mind you have this POC sitting down here at about 0.059. This could be, right? If you do wind up putting in lower lows or lower highs and lower lows, I would pull, I would watch this value area high as key resistance. If things do remain bearish and this chart looks like garbage as you approach this value area high, right? Could be lower high, lower low into the POC value area low, which sits between 0.05 at about 5 cents, right? 0.059 or 0.054. So, if you're going to stick with that, if you're going to stick with this volume profile, that's what you'd be paying attention to. However, oh man, I wish this was all organized. It's not. But let me just go ahead and folder this up. And you could also, it's not the best, right? I don't really love this range. But this is somewhat of a larger volume profile, right? Or a more current volume profile. You could take these levels as well. Value area low, POC. Value area high. And at this point, right, you want to keep in mind that you have that other profile, right, with your value area high sitting up there. But if you're able to get above this 786, you may be able to work your way back up to this larger value area high at 16 cents, right? So 2 different ways to look at this chart. Number one could be this volume profile where you simply bounce off the value area low. You're testing the POC. If you flip that POC, I'd look to come into this golden pocket 786 retracement. Flip that 786 retracement. I would look to come up here, which would be golden pocket, value area high confluence. So key level of resistance here, right? This would be a larger level of resistance, right? Locally, get above that POC. See if you could run into the local resistance, which I'm going to have to pull that fib again. Right? So first major level of resistance on Crow, if you flip this POC, it's going to be between 10 and 12 cents. Flip that 786. Could work your way all the way back up to 16 cents. Between 16 and 17 cents. Right? Golden pocket value area low. These would be key levels of resistance on the way back up. If you lose the value area low here, I'd be looking at about 5 cents. Down towards the, so 2 ranges I would be looking at. You could look at it like this. And then if you break down, you could turn this range off. Just grab this, bring it on up here, drop this all in a folder, right? You could hide that range and then pull up the bigger range and say, hey, if we're coming down, we're losing the lows, I'm looking down here. Simply put. So there you go. That's what I'll be looking at on Crow. Let's see. Shout out to Tales of Mystery. Thank you for the super chat, bro. I appreciate you. He says, hi, Frankie. Do I need to wait for the beginning of the month to join the premium Discord, or do you teach how you enter your trades on the Discord? Yeah, so I could you could join whenever you want. There's no you don't have to wait for the beginning of the month. We're actually talking today about adding another barrier to entry into the premium. I don't plan on leaving it super open for super long. I'm not putting a day on that either, like when we're going to start doing that. It might be a year from now, who knows. But, the Discord is really for people who want to take trading seriously and learn how to trade. It is not a signals group, although I do give you my personal trade setups. I could try to pull one up here. Unfortunately, I didn't get the entry because I was streaming. But if I pull up here, I think we did just we have this short setup from here in the premium Discord. I want to double check the levels because I don't want to say we were calling for it if we weren't. Shout out to Darren. Can you check my setup in the BTC TA channel? I'm pretty sure it was from that golden pocket. I'm almost positive. I just don't want to say we did if we didn't, because I will show it. Because I want to show what we do in our premium Discord, guys. I don't just say buy here, sell here. That's not how it works. That's not how trading works. That's not. If it was as easy as getting signals, everybody would just be in the same signals group, and I would just code a bot, right? And I just would never do anything and just print money automatically. Signals groups, in my opinion, don't work, right? Because to be an actual consistent trader over a long period of time, you can't just rely on someone else's trading, right? You want to learn how to trade. This is what we focus on. I give personal trade setups, and just I mean, while I'm, if I think Darren is still in here, if he could check that, that would be, I'd appreciate that. But for the most part, right? I showed this earlier in the stream, right? We looked for a long on ETH down here, right? But we had been waiting for this level to get hit for so long. Eventually, we came down. We got the hit on the level. We saw the confirmations. I talk about the actual confirmations that I like to see to enter the trade. The confirmations vary from trade to trade. Sometimes you can't front run the confirmations until you get down there. But typically what it looks like is this is what a general setup looks like, right? We're like, hey, I have a key level down here. These are the reasons why I like this level. And if we come down there, there's liquidity. This is what I'd like to see, whether it's a swing failure pattern or whatever it is, right? I look for the confirmations and try to front run them, right? And say, hey, if we get down to this level and we see these confirmations, I'm going to be looking to take a long position. And then that's pretty much how we do it. I guess you could consider that. I don't consider that a signal, right? Because I teach people what I look for at these levels. And then and this is pretty much how we do it. The setup was on point. Flash above the GP and then dump. Yeah, so I just don't want to spend too much time so this is from earlier today, right? And I'll be honest with you guys, being a content creator is kind of rough sometimes because a lot of times I just like to sit on the chart so I could catch every single move, and then sometimes we're on the charts, we're not looking at Bitcoin, so I miss my entries. But this was in the Discord, right? Looking for the retracement into the golden pocket 786 for a lower high and then a lower low in the context of this volume profile that we just showed earlier in the stream. If we continue down in a bigger way, the daily golden pocket is sitting down here, and then you have I believe we're at the POC was up here at about 84,440, right? We come up here, lower high situation. This is what we're going to be looking for. Blah blah blah. I give a whole explainer of what I'm looking for, and then you come up here. That's where we're looking to see the trades. If we see the confirmations, we could take the trade. If not, we sit on our hands and we wait for the next level. But there you go, right? And this is and I don't say this to brag. I don't say this to just do shameless promo. But this is what we do in the premium Discord, right? If you were in here, right, you would see this. And actually, I'm not going to lie, I have emotions too sometimes, guys. I'm kind of mad that I wasn't seeing this at the exact time. It would have been really fire to actually see that live. But there you go, right? If we get the confirmations we're looking for, then boom, right? And I give the whole explainer. Why would I be looking for a lower high here? Well, look at money flow, right? I even mentioned here, you would have been prepped. I'll even just show this real quick, right? Where is it? 8 hour, 30 minute market cipher B 116 strategy. Talked about this at 1:46 p.m. in the premium Discord, right? We were already looking at this as an thing, right? And this is why, right? We came up here. This was another thing we were looking at for a dump on the 786. We looked at that level last night on the live stream, but hey guys, I don't know. We got the 8 hour, 30 minute, not looking that great. Money flow kind of looks like garbage. If we do get a retracement, we could look for short entries like this. And now we're getting the dump, right? That entry was at 89,440 and we are at 85,302. So there you go. But that's kind of how we do it, right? It's not a signals group. No matter whose signals group or whatever groups you enter, you're never I like to be transparent. I don't want to try to say that, it's not a get-rich-quick scheme. You can't just join a Discord and get rich overnight. And as a matter of fact, if that's what you're looking at, I recommend you go just try to find the signals group. I don't recommend that personally for your benefit, but if that's what you're looking for, my Discord is not the thing. We show you how to actually trade. We give you the trade setups. I tell you the confirmations I'm looking for. But you have to take the trades on your own. That's the way trading works. And then my goal is to have everybody in the premium Discord become profitable traders and not have to rely on me constantly. That way, because I know that's actually what's going to create freedom for them. That's what's going to push them to be a profitable trader. You don't just want to take people's signals. It's too good to be true. It probably is, right? When I started trading, if I thought it was that easy, I would have just joined a Discord and or a Signals group and set up a bot, right? And made $1 bazillion. It's not that easy. Trust me, I've learned that the hard way. I've actually never been in a Signals group, but if I thought it would work, I would do it. And everyone would do it, right? No one would have a job if it was that easy. But you could totally, people crushing the Discord. You guys see them. I let people in the chat talk about the Discord. I don't even really push it that hard because if you want to take trading you're trading to the next level, I recommend getting in there, learning, taking a look at the setups, etc. We do 2 live streams a week. But if you're new to trading, if you want to learn how to trade, you don't really know what you're looking at, you don't know how to look at the charts, right? You don't know how to make your own charts, find your own setups. Just start on the YouTube channel. I give tons of free value here. It's basically a free trading course. Watch the beginner series. Go through all the tutorials. You have to put the time in. You have to learn. You have to practice. You have to make mistakes and correct the mistakes. It's a difficult journey. But if you want to learn, there you go. We slap pretty hard. But anyway, let's see. We're not getting an alt season this year. We're getting a Trump season. Shout out to English. Yeah, shout out to English. But anyway, let's see. We took a look at XRP. We took a look at Cardano. We took a look at a lot of alts. How long have we been going here? Yeah, we've been cooking for 2.5 hours. Let's go. Let's see. But yeah, I think let's see. Likes are for Frankie, not Bitcoin. Everyone's just like, I hate Bitcoin. Don't hit the like button. Dump shocked the audience and forgot to slap the like button. Let's go. Shout out to Orion. Orion. I got stopped out that exact setup, basically. Shout out to CJ. It's okay. Hey, if you got stopped out, that's not a bad thing, right? It stinks, but better than getting liquidated. Yo, shout out to Dude. Thank you for the super chat, bro. He said, I do agree with you, Frankie. Making a bigger barrier to entry for the kitchen would be a good thing. And I'm not saying money-wise, more of a test thing. Yeah, like make people fill out applications. Yeah, I mean, because listen, I don't necessarily want, I was talking to Tony D about this, like, I want people, right, like, someone who's looking for a get-rich-quick scheme is not going to benefit off my Discord, right? Someone who wants to learn how to trade and put in work is 100% going to make money. And, I can't guarantee that, right? But, you have to almost have skin in the game, right? Because, like, if you have no skin in the game, it's going to be like, if I said, hey, like, if someone thinks it's a Signals group, they're going to get in there and be like, oh, I didn't get rich overnight. What the heck? I'm out, right? Like, we don't want that, right? Because, like, that's not what our group is. We obviously make money. Shout out to everybody who talks about it in the chat. But, yeah, it's just... Yeah, I think putting a barrier to entry is not a bad thing, right? Like, I would rather have higher quality people who are going to work hard to actually... Okay, there's a prerequisite to becoming a profitable trader if you're going to learn from my Discord, and that is that you want to put in work to actually learn how to be a trader, right? Not just copy trade. You can't copy trade. It's not going to work, I promise, right? Again, too good to be true probably is, right? Trump is not for beginners. Yeah, shout out to Zakir. Why are we dumping out of good news? If you guys are wondering why Bitcoin dumped, go to the beginning of the stream. We literally spotted it on the chart before it happened. Fill in the news. And again, like if you were shorting where we were looking at it in the Discord right here, like low-key mad that I'm not in this because it would be so fire to show. I really stand to like showing the proof in the pudding, but sometimes you're streaming, you get distracted, and you're just not there. But we look at it, right, and we saw the warning signs, right? We didn't know Trump was about to tweet, right? And even if we did know he was about to tweet, we wouldn't know if the reaction would be bullish or bearish, right? Put yourself in this situation. Say Trump is going to tweet right now, right? I know Trump is going to tweet right here. It's going to be bullish news, but that doesn't guarantee it's going to be a bullish reaction, right? This is what I covered in the beginning of the stream. So what do, right? Do you guess if it's going to be bullish or guess if it's going to be bearish? This is why I say you can't trade news, you can't trade tweets or what the sentiment is. It doesn't matter, right? Because obviously tomorrow is going to be very bullish, right? Or you would think tomorrow would be very bullish, right? Or the whole news would be very bullish. But that's not how the market moves. That's not that simple, right? It's not just like, oh, Bitcoin reserve, send it to $1 million. That would be so easy. You'd see the tweet, buy, everyone would be rich, right? Just too good to be true. But how could you know, Well, you just stick to what the charts say. The charts say 24-minute money flow coming into the red, 8-hour red dot printing. That's usually where you see a dump. Boop. You get the dump, right? So there you go. The news was bad. Trump's not buying Bitcoin. Yeah, I mean, sometimes you get bad news and it pumps. Sometimes you get good news and it dumps. It's like, and that's why I say, like, just stick to the charts. The charts are agnostic. They're unbiased, right? If this was looking bullish, I would say, hey, we have bullish news coming and the charts are setting up in a bullish manner. That's great. Might get probably more likely to get a push to the upside. But when you have bullish news coming out and the charts look like garbage, probably more of like a sell the rumor or a buy the rumor, sell the news type event. So yeah, I really only pay attention to the charts. Chart also said 4-hour money flow was about to go into the green, though. Yeah, shout out to Fabian. Absolutely. This is what we looked at, right? We're like, right? And you're never 100% certain, right? It's like, this money flow, I mean, honestly, at least as of right now, we're just getting a little rejection here, but that 4-hour money flow does look good. But why did we go with this? I literally said this. Why did we lean more on the 24 and 30-minute money flow? Well, we have to see, because the 24-minute money flow and the 30-minute money flow crossing into the red is going to happen before the 4-hour money flow because it's a lower time frame. So you would want to wait for that lower time frame signal to play out, right? Like, let's see what the 24-minute money flow crossover into the red gives us, right? Because that's going to happen before the 4-hour plays out anyway, right? Because the 24 minutes going to play out faster. It's a lower time frame, right? So you want to see, in this case, literally on the stream saying, I want to see what that 24-minute money flow gives us, right? Because it says it's going to give us a big continuation to the downside. But if that gets faked out, that's maybe where you see the 4-hour come into the green. Right? And to be honest, like 4-hour money flow is still not looking horrible. It's getting rejected. It's going to take some time to develop. But yeah, it's a great question or great comment, Fabian. 100%. But when you see like 4-hour looking bullish, but that 30-minute and 24-minute is tanking to the downside, it doesn't mean the 4-hour won't play out. It just means that 24-minute and 30-minute might play out first, right? Maybe we get a dump. Let's assume we're going to come back up. Maybe you get the dump off this signal, right? You kind of range around here. And then tomorrow we get a big blast off, and then the 4-hour money flow comes in. The lower time frames will always play out before the higher time frames. So that's a perfect example. How low does Sui go? We could take a look at Sui. Shout out to Jay Edits. What's going on, bro? Good to see you. Sui probably, let's see. Sui can probably hit like, I don't know. Yeah, probably going to 0. No, I'm just kidding. Let's see. Sui. Yeah, Sui holding up pretty good compared to everything else. If we're being honest, right? High time frame. Everything else is like back down to bear market lows. Crazy. Tomorrow news is going to be bullish. Yeah, maybe this is a dump and then a pump. Shout out to Jungle Boy. Said, all we need to do is tune into Frankie and you give it to us straight. Shout out to Jungle Boy. Yeah, you're never going to get any like famoosing on this channel, guys. You're just getting straight facts from the chart. Even if I disagree with, if I want Bitcoin to go up or down and the charts are saying the opposite, I'm still just going to tell you what the charts say. I'm not going to just be like, I want more clicks. I'm going to say it goes up. I don't care about clicks. I don't care about the fast money grab. If I cared about fast money grabs, I would lie about trading being a get-rich-quick scheme, and I would just try to funnel as many people into Discord as possible. I'm the opposite. I actually want to help people. I actually want to turn people into consistent traders, and that's what we're going to do. But yeah, shout out to Jungle Boy. 100%. We'll always give it to you straight here. But anyway, let's continue on. Yeah, I don't love this. I mean, this volume profile is all wonked. Well, let's take a look. These are like, I mean, this is still relevant, but it's lower levels. We'll bring that back up when it becomes a thing. I think we might have a different Sui chart. Let's check the there it is. Okay, this is what we want to look at. Okay, so on Sui, let's see. On Sui, we have, yeah, I mean, we've already come down to the golden pocket. I think this is like your macro golden pocket. Yeah, from the low all the way to the high. I mean, you came down and tapped it, which is, you know, a great place to look for a bounce. Is it going to be the bounce forever? Probably not. Your 3-hour money flow is back in the green. 4-hour money flow back in the green, right? Well, if only we can get that on Bitcoin. Let's check the 8-hour. Yeah, 8-hour red dot looking to print. 30-minute money flow crossing over into the red. So locally, you would have to anticipate this. If this money flow stays in the red, we would look for lower highs and lower lows, right? But that doesn't mean dump from here, right? Probably means some kind of retracement and then a dump, potentially. But yeah, locally, right? Key levels of support. I'll give you the next levels down here. Going to be about Yeah, 216s, the bottom of your golden pocket, value area high. I mean, I could probably, I've already tapped that. So yeah, I would probably be looking down here to about 218 to 202. Once you come down to 202, you're at your POC of the range. So at that point, right, unless you're going to wick down to your POC and send it, right? Like if you're looking for like alt season or massive all-time highs, you would want to, bounce off that POC and get the heck out of this volume profile. But if you don't get the quick rip out, right, you're going to look for a bounce on the POC, rejection at the value area high. Once you lose that POC, probably a faster, bigger drop down to about $1.70. So yeah, this is your key level of support. You want to hold above ideally 216. If not, you really want to hold 202. Once you lose 202, that's really where I would look for the bigger drop down. $1.70 once again. So yeah, those are the lower levels I would be looking at on SUI. We'll see what happens. But yeah, as long as Bitcoin's dumping, I would expect the alts to follow. Like, what happened to the DXY here? DXY rip. Yeah, I mean, DXY coming down too. I mean, I still don't hate this on the DXY, right? And at the end of the day, let's take a look at Bitcoin real quick. Yeah, definitely manipulation, if I had to guess. But it's funny, right? Did we know the manipulation was coming right here? Right? Did we know that Trump was going to tweet right here? Absolutely not. But we did have the signs on the chart. So yeah, again, if you're wondering why Bitcoin dumped, just scrub to the beginning of the stream. Let's see. Shout out to Gunner says, didn't he say he wouldn't buy just what he said he was going to do, which is not sell what the U.S. already owns? This is insanely good news. People need to change their mindset now. Professional. Yeah. I mean, that's the thing, right? Like, you don't want to go off of the sentiment, right? Like, it's hard to not get sucked into that, especially if you're on crypto Twitter and you're in the comment section of all the videos on YouTube and stuff. Everyone just gets scared. Everyone's, especially like if you're reading comments or something on Twitter or whatever, it's very much like, I can't tell you how many times, like, especially new people will come in and be like, it's pumping. Why would you short? And it's like, I'm not going to lie. Again, I don't know if this person was like saying this as in like, what an idiot. Why would you short here? I don't know what the context of what he said was, but it reminded me of like when people say like yesterday, people were saying like, imagine shorting this. What an idiot, right? Like basically saying that, right? I mean, I don't know. Imagine shorting it. Pretty profitable, right? And that's why, people like that are just like stuck on the like, they just don't understand, right? It's not their fault. They just don't understand how the market works. They don't understand how the market moves. They just think green candles means upside. That's not what it means. Like even on Crow, I forgot who said this. Shout out to, who said that? It's an OG. I forgot who said it, but said Crow was pumping. Yeah, I think it was it istophobic? Yeah, like Crow was pushing, right? But, oh, hang on a second. Did that just happen? Well, there you go, right? Crazy, man. This is manipulation for sure. Where's the other chart? But anyway, either way, right? When you pump, it's different. If you're pumping, that could be good, right? Like it could be good if you're pumping, right? But it doesn't just always mean you're going to pump. You have to understand the context of where you're pumping, why you're pumping. Are you pumping into key resistance? Are you pumping into, massive? Are you dumping into support? Like a lot of people would say, you get this big drop, right? And then it's like, boom, especially after big moves up like this. Everybody's bullish. You see a big dump down, and then you push up. And people are like, yeah, it's going back up. It's going back up, right? But if you don't know what you're looking at, right, and you don't understand where the lower highs are likely to come in, if you don't understand money flow is coming out, likely to continue the downtrend, right, it's this pump is not exciting, right? Sure, it's nice because you can scalp it for some profit, but it is not great if you're coming into a lower high level. You're much better off looking for shorts in a scenario like this than looking for longs, especially where most people long after the pump has happened, right? So honestly, you could counter trade that. When people are saying like, oh, you're an idiot if you think it's going this way, chances are you're probably going to be like, I get excited when people say that because I'm like, yeah, I'm probably going to be right. if the majority would think it's crazy to short up here, we're probably going to come down, right? But yeah, I smell a bear trap. I pray. Shout out to Andrew. I hope so. Took a minute for it to realize for Bus was leaving. Yeah, shout out to CJ. Oh, was it CJ that was saying it? Maybe. But yeah, no, yeah, we were pumping. It was going against everything for a little while. And then Shout out to Al Jr. said, Frankie, a good friend of mine wanted to start, and I sent him your beginner videos and the value areas one. We trade together, and thanks to that, he pulled a $500 gain this week. He is in love with shorting now. Yeah, shout out to Al Jr. Let's go, baby. Like third-party CandleMafia traders. I love it. I love it. Shout out to Al Jr. Let's go. Let's go. Any new TA on BTC? I mean, I'll be honest, not really. I mean, maybe this, here's the thing, guys. Like, how is this going to play out? Really hard to say, right? There's going to be no, like, let's pull up our anchored VWAP from the low here. Yeah, I mean, if we could hold above this would be good, right? But here's what I'm looking at, right? I still have to stick to the TA, right? It was right from the beginning of the stream. We saw the tweet and whatever, the news came out. We got the dump, right? But I still have to stick to the TA, right? Like, and whether it's wrong or not, right? Maybe we get the move down. Maybe we just rip up. But at this point, the same signals we looked at in the beginning of the stream stand true. We just saw the beginning of it, right? The 8-hour red dot, which is now printing, right? It was flashing earlier today, but it is printing now. The 24-minute money flow is coming out. We look for the crossover into the red. That is typically where you see the big move start. If this money flow is going to continue into the red, which I would expect with that fresh 8-hour red dot, if we're going to continue into the red here, we would have to anticipate the continuation of a downtrend. Lackluster retracements, lower highs, and continuations down. Sometimes when you get really impulsive moves like that, you don't even really get much of a retracement. It kind of just bounces, dumps, bounces, dumps, right? You don't really get any good opportunities like we did here in the premium to look for the retracement into your Fibonacci for a lower high and a lower low. So I have to stick with the money flow. The money flow is coming out on the 24-minute. The 30-minute is following with the 8-hour red dot. That's a market cipher B116 strategy. I have to say at this point locally, any bounces will be lackluster retracements for lower highs and lower lows. Simply put, that's what I'd be looking for. If you got a full retracement, I mean, you would pull from this high to this low. I don't know if you're going to pull all the way back up here, but if you did, this would probably be where I would be looking for a lower high. It's the only real significant swing that we can pull from. If you retraced up in here, very similar to if we retraced into this, I believe it was this fib, right? Just like we looked in the premium Discord for the retracement in here to look for the short. We come up, look for the short, boom, right? We didn't know the tweet was coming. We didn't know what the news was going to be. We didn't care. We just saw the signs on the, like you can go through here. I mentioned nothing about a tweet. I mentioned nothing about news, right? Or unless I mentioned anything about maybe there's volatility incoming, right? Just like we looked for that, I would look for a retracement. And again, I don't know if you're going to be lucky enough to get that full retracement if we're just going to impulse and continue dumping. But if you did pull up here, this would be the next area, in my opinion, to be looking for the lower high. Very similar to this situation. Very similar to this situation, right? Even yesterday, we were looking for this 786 rejection, right? Our key level of resistance, 786 Fibonacci retracement. In confluence with our macro value area low was sitting right there, right? We look for the rejection here, we got it. We look for the rejection here, we got it. If we come up here, I'd be looking for a rejection, assuming that the money flow is continuing out on the 24-minute. I would look for another dump. Now, could you rip up out of nowhere? Maybe. Maybe if you just got like liquidate all the shorts and stuff or whatever, you just get a big pump to the upside. I would love for that to happen, but money flow is not pointing in that direction. Money flow is pointing towards a continuation down. If it's wrong, the TA was wrong, that's fine. I've been wrong before. The TA has been wrong before. It will happen again, but we're right more than we're wrong. So we're gonna stick with that. Jungle Boy said lackluster. Let's go. Shout out to Simano said, we go down as expected. Do not fear. When losers get shaken out, there will be last final huge pump. Yeah, I would agree. Empire Trade said, okay, my target's done. Shout out to Empire Trades. I guess your target was 84K, 85K. No V recovery. Shout out to Martinez. I mean, hopefully we could just slam out of here. I would assume this is probably shorts, right? People who were shorting on the way down getting liquidated on this push up. Just tuned in. What tweet? Shout out to Sean. I mean, I'll be honest. Shout out. Yeah, do not Twitter trade. Yeah, do not Twitter trade, guys. Don't trade based off tweets. Do not trade off of news. Alex says pumping again. Yeah, this is a perfect example too, right? Like, you don't want to get bullish on pumps, right? Like, if you see this, you do not want too long, right? I know this sounds counterintuitive. I'm like passionate about getting this through. When you see this, you do not want to pump. I mean, when you see this, you do not want too long. You want to long when you are coming down. You want to try to catch bottoms, not long on moves to the upside, right? Because if you're going to put in a lower high here, maybe you don't get to the golden pocket. You don't want to enter a long here if it's just going to be a lower high and a lower low. And in this case, you have money flow coming out. It looks like we're going to put in lower highs and lower lows. I don't know if it's going to happen here. I would say there's a higher probability of it happening in here, but I just don't know how probable it is we get that big of a push. But this is right. Like you don't want to like see this. I'm not saying you're doing this, by the way. I don't know. I forgot who said this. I'm not saying you're doing this, but I'm just saying like this is a pump, but this is different than just like a bullish pump, right? This would be like a lackluster retracement, lower highs, lower lows. Why? Not because I feel bearish, but because of money flow, right? Because of market structure. It's the same reason we look for this dump, right? We called this dump yesterday, or we're looking for the dump. I hate saying we called for it, right? Because that insinuates that I called 100% we're going to dump from here. But we talked about why I was going to be looking for shorts here. Some people thought we were crazy, but obviously we weren't, right? And that's going to happen more often than it doesn't. So you got the rejection here. You have a downtrend, right? We got the retracement. We look for the dump here. Again, I'm not making this up. This is from this morning or earlier today. We put in the lower low. We got a dump. You have to. The trend is your friend, right? Until the end, right? So, if you come up here, this is another area you can put a lower high in for another dump. If you break out of the 786, maybe you change market structure and you continue up. But yeah, we'll see. We'll see if we can get a little retracement here. But yeah, for the most part, guys, let me just pull up the actual chart. Again, longer term. We really want to get back into this volume profile. If you can't do it, and even if you do, it's going to be very bullish. Maybe we reclaim the value area low and get the bigger push up. Everyone's bullish on the news tomorrow or whatever's happening, right? This is still a big level for a rejection. We have a lot of resistance above, but the goal here, if you do not want to see the dump to 76K or below, you want to reclaim this value area low for at least a little more upside. But I'm telling you right now, with the 2-day money flow coming out the way it is, if that crosses into the red and we retrace into this golden pocket POC, daily naked point of control, anchored VWAP, we will be looking for shorts on the POC and the golden pocket and the 786 up here for potential lower highs and lower lows if we don't get it here, right? Because, again, we don't know if we're going to go for the full retracement, which brings you the golden pocket here and the 786 here. But on Sunday, the market update, we said the first level that we could potentially put a macro lower high in is going to be right here, right? It's a local fib. We got the rejection, so if we wind up continuing down here, we're probably going to come down sooner than later. If we get some crazy volatility tomorrow and we get a pump up here, this could be the area we put the lower high in, and so can this. But everyone's going to be super bullish up in here. Maybe I will. If the charts say we're bullish, I'm going to be bullish, right? But I'm not just going to listen to everyone saying, oh, my God, the all-time highs, right? We're bullish because we feel bullish, right? If we come up here and we get bearish confirmations, you bet your bottom dollar I'm going to be slamming that thing to the downside with the premium Discord. Just like we look for the short here, we're going to be looking for the shorts up here. If we don't get the confirmation, we'll sit on our hands, wait for the 786. If we don't get the confirmations up here, maybe then we can look for all-time highs. But in my opinion, locally, that money flow looks bearish, right? So maybe we come down first. If we don't come down from here, you're looking to flip the value area low. But even in that case, I'm still looking for shorts here, Hopefully we can just Lambo candle out. But that's how I'm trading it, guys. Those are the key levels. And I'm not going to lie. It looks more and more likely, right? Not guaranteeing it, but it looks more and more likely that the thing that we were looking at on Sunday's market update, turn on notifications so you do not miss these updates, guys. 786 golden pocket, lower high, you come down, you reject out of your volume profile, you can't get accepted back in. That could be the start of the bigger drop, right? That's why this value area low is going to be absolutely key to get above. Sitting at 91K. Can't get above 91K, can't get above the value area low. More likely than not, this was our lower high like we looked at on Sunday, and we're going to get the bigger drop down where we'll be looking towards 75 to 76K. This is do or die. We lose this, I hate to say it, but all of these levels are then in the cards. If you don't hold that golden pocket and you fly through the volume profile, your 786 is sitting all the way down here. Where, by the way, we'll be looking for longs. Spot bags are a little bit more difficult to navigate because at that point, it's like, you're not in a bear market, right? You're not down 70%. And again, I said this in the beginning of the stream, 45% down, everyone's going to, and I'm not saying it doesn't mean you're not in a bear market, but if you were calling for a bear market on a 45% dump last time, right? You're calling a bear market right here, right? And then you were a genius for a little bit. But look at that. You never went into the bear market. You came back up to all-time highs, right? I'm not saying that's definitely going to happen this time. You could dump 45% and then get a bigger drop down into the bear market. But it's not as simple as just seeing a percentage on the chart and saying you're in a bear market. Because if you were saying, oh, we went 50% down, this is definitely a bear market, you would have been literally calling it a bear market at the bottom before the move up. And this is just how I trade, guys. It's just not that simple. No one's going to be able to give you definite answers like that ever. That's why I always look at the bullish case, the bearish case, and I let you guys know where the charts are pointing to. And if you want proof in the pudding, go to scrub to the beginning of the stream and we cover all the TA on Solana, Ethereum, Bitcoin, Cardano. We went over some altcoins, but in the middle of the stream, we saw what we looked at in the beginning of the stream play out. So hopefully we could get a fast Hopefully we can get a fast recovery here and scoot on out of this. But like I said, tough market. Yeah, it's definitely a tough market, guys. I would say this is probably the toughest. Bull market I've ever been a part of. But to be honest, guys, they're all hard. They're all hard. They feel easier after they happen because you're looking in hindsight. They're all hard, right? There's always times that you're going to be, why this dump? Shout out to MB, scrub to the beginning of the stream. We talk about it. We talk about why we were expecting a pull down and what, then we got the news and we just saw the TA play out. If you want to ask me why we dumped, I'm always going to give a chart answer. And again, the reason for that is because, again, not making it up, right? Looking for shorts for technical reasons. We did not know that Trump was going to tweet here. We don't care what happens. We don't care if someone gets hacked. We don't care if someone tweets. We don't care if Satoshi gets revealed and it's actually Satoshi winds up being I don't know. It comes out and Satoshi winds up being Celine Dion and no one likes that and they dump it. I don't know. But we look at this for 100% technical reasons. And what happens, right? You put the lower high end, you get the move down, and all of a sudden there's a tweet happening, right? So we just let the news fill in the blanks for us. We're going to be looking for shorts or longs solely based off the TA every single time. And we're going to be right more often than we're not. Most times, right? I wouldn't say more often than all the time, but it's not true. Shout out to Eddie C. said, I'm here. Let's go. Let's go. We actually already took a look at XRT. Shout out to Skill. We took a look at XRP. If you scrub back, you will see it. We give you the key levels. Actually, let's check in on it. Did it dump down to where we expected, or we checked it after the dump, right? Yeah. So, scrub back. We did a full TA on XRP. There's some levels if you just want to look at them, right? Bouncing off the POC. If you lose this POC, I've been looking down towards about 217. Shout out to Crypto Owl said, with Frankie Candles, trading made easy. Shout out to Crypto Owl. Let's go. Let's go. I appreciate you, bro. I bought more Bitcoin. Shout out to JK. Hey, listen, bro, you hold it for 10 years. Chances are it's going to be up at some point, right? So even if we do go into a crazy bear market, you're probably going to be in some kind of profit there, I would guess. Why the quick dump to 85K? If you're new here or you're just tuning in, scrub to the beginning of the stream. This is the last time I'll say it just because I said it 50 times. We spotted why we were looking for the pullback, and then we did get news, but it was on the charts beforehand. And the reason I'm telling everybody to go back is because I want people to see in real time. I have no incentive to just push charts on people, right? I push this and I teach it and I'm passionate about it because it works, right? There's not I can't tell you how many times I'm in a short. It would be the case right now if I saw the setup presenting itself in real time. But the amount of times that I've been in a long position or a short position, and then someone comes up to me and says, did you see the bullish news? Did you see the bearish news? I'd be like, no, what was the news? They're like, we're pumping, dude. And I'm like, oh, that's awesome. I'm long. He goes, were you anticipating the news? It's like, no. I saw a daily bull dip with money flow coming up in a 30-minute SFP. I'm long from a technical purpose. And then all of a sudden the news comes in and, gives you the fuel to go up. I can't tell you how many times can't tell you how many times that's happened. So I stick to the charts. It's always going to be unbiased, right? And if you're trading the news, you're too late, right? Like I said, right? What would have happened if you shorted the news, right? You're seeing the dump down. Oh my God, by the time you get on the computer or on your phone and you try to enter a short, boom, you're an instant drawdown, right? You want to be shorting the technicals, not the news. 100%, right? I stand by that. And if you're making money trading the news and you're actually making money trading the news, then don't change anything. I'm not going to try to, force the charts on anybody, but chances are not a lot of people, profitably trading news, at least in crypto. Shout out to Dr. MTG said daylight savings is coming up. Frankie's just in the future. Absolutely. Can you check out ETH again? Sure. I'm feeling a little spicy tonight, guys. We had a really good meeting earlier with some secret people for secret stuff. Actually, you guys are going to love it, though, if we wind up doing it. Okay, so Frankie, why don't you use the regular VWAP? I find it to be my best indicator. BTC holding it right now. Shout out to CJ. You could totally look at the VWAP. I look at the VWAP as well. I just like anchored VWAPs with the way that I trade level to level. I could just find, within the context of what I'm trading, I could find like the most relevant VWAP, right? But you totally trade with the regular VWAP. 100%. I do that as well. I just don't have it on my I don't have any I just prefer the anchor. I don't even want to say I prefer it. I just use it more, which I guess means I prefer it. But yeah, anchored VWAP is a super overpowered indicator, but VWAP is also overpowered as well. So yeah, great. Yeah. Why don't I use it? I don't know. There's no real. It's not like it doesn't work or front runs or anything like that. It's just I like the anchor VWAP better personally. It's probably more of a preference. I did better with BTC ETH alone in 2021. Shout out to Jennifer. Yeah, I bet. Frankie, spicy Frankie after dark. Wait until I start showing my my new haircut, guys. My new haircut. Am I supposed to time out J Kim or let him spam? J Kim, BTC is now legitimized by the U.S. government. Shout out to JK or J Kim as a currency through the creation of the reserve. I bought more. Shout out to JK. Well. Shout out to Dave. Hopefully you don't have to hide him because we read it. Shout out to J Kim. Let's go. BTC price action on the upside. Let's go. Shout out to JK. I hope so. But again, I just want to say the money flow in the 30-minute and the 24-minute, definitely calling for more downside on most things, right? So, but hopefully we just Lambo candle up. I would love that. But that's not what the charts are saying, at least for the low time frame. Hat off. Friday will be crazy. Don't trade. Yeah, I'm probably going to sit on my hands a little bit tomorrow. Frankie working the OT. Taxes will be waived soon. Shout out to Tony Roaz. I would love if they just waived taxes. Good Lord. Especially being in crypto. Taxes are a nightmare, man. Absolute nightmare. Frankie is a superior human. Shout out to Dave Digital. I appreciate that, bro. I appreciate that, but I would, I don't know about superior. I'm just a guy, man. Sometimes we can call moves on the chart, but we're just guys. Retail shorted the head and shoulder short squeeze incoming. Let's go. Shout out to Jay. I hope so. Send it up. I'll be honest with you guys. For the first time, more often than not, I would prefer moves to the downside. I for whatever reason, right? I just like shorting more than longing. I don't know what it is. I know a lot of people probably don't like that. Like, why would you want to short Bitcoin? But I enjoy shorting more. And I know a lot of people agree with me. I've seen a lot of people say that in chat. I don't know what it is. I enjoy shorting more. I feel like it's just because I feel like I have gravity on my side. It's a little less stressful. I'm like, yeah, it'll keep dumping. Gravity's on my side. Obviously means nothing. But, yeah, I don't know. I just like shorting more. It's also like the point, another reason is like the fact that you're making money when price goes down. Like, I've just been so high on that for so long. Like, as soon as I learned what shorting was, it's like, before I even was shorting, like, I'm like, people make money when it goes down. Like, it's a long, long time ago. I'm just like, man, like, imagine just being able to, like, make money whether it goes up or down. And then, once I started trading more and I learned about it and I actually started doing it, it's just super exciting. It's right because it's like, oh, my spot bags are down, but we're profiting on the shorts. But full disclosure right now, although we did have to set up in the Discord, I've closed all my shorts from higher. I've been short from 102K until this drop to the downside. And then I didn't want to get greedy, right? I made a ton of money across all my accounts on this jump to the downside, which, by the way, a lot of people were, I don't know why they get mad. Like, a lot of people are like, hate that you're calling for more downside, but it's like, I'm making money, man. I don't just trade in the charts here. But made a bunch of money on that. I've closed those in full. Only thing I hold right now is the ETH long, which is probably like bing-bonging around break even at this point. But we'll see what happens, guys. We'll see what happens. If you're just tuning in, this is the only stream so far in my entire career, but I would recommend you go rewatch the whole thing because we saw the bearish signs on the chart. We saw the bullish signs on the chart on the higher time frames, but then talked about why we're going to lean on the lower time frames, see what that does first, and literally look for that dump. And then we saw it happen in real time. It shows that TA works. It also shows that you can front run the news on TA live, right? And we also do the full TA key levels on altcoins and Bitcoin as well. I give you my overall kind of thesis of what I'm looking for, how I'm handling things. And yeah, shout out to anybody in the premium that caught that short from the top. Make some money for your boy because I did not catch that move. But let's see. When we're talking about XRP, you mentioned a POC. What does that mean? That means the point of control. Wow, I'm never gonna get off here, man. It's like Mrs. Candles is probably waiting to eat with me, but you know, when you love what you do, it's really hard to get out of here, especially when I got all you guys in here. But the POC is just the point of control. This is part of a volume profile. What better way to end the stream other than explaining a volume profile? This is called the volume profile. This is a volume tool that you can use while trading. We use it to find 3 key levels. Go watch. There's a video. Tony D, if you could link the video to that trade recap, I think that the how I made X amount of money in one day or whatever the title is, I show exactly how we trade the volume profiles. It's like a quick breakdown, easiest strategy might be the name of it. But we use this to find 3 key levels: the value area high, the POC, and the value area low. The reason we look at these is because this marks out a fair price for the asset. So when you're inside that range, it's considered a fair value. When you deviate above this range, you can look at this as kind of like overbought. And when you deviate below it, you can kind of think of it as oversold, right? Expensive asset, cheap asset. What do you want to do when you see an expensive asset as it's popping out of your fair value? Remember, this is fair value. Anything above is expensive. Anything below is cheap, right? So this is if you deviate above, you want to look for shorts, right? So we look for shorts at the top of the profile, and we look for longs at the bottom of the profile. The way these work is once you leave a volume profile, right? And this is going to answer the question of what a POC is. When you deviate below, this is where you want to start looking for longs. And then once you reclaim the value area low as support, this is where there is, some people say, an 80% chance. Some people call this an 80% setup. I did not invent this, right? But this is where once you get accepted back into the range, there's a very high chance. Some people say 80%. I don't have literal statistics to show you, so I don't feel comfortable saying that. But some people say about an 80% chance. I would just say it's very likely that once you hold this value area low as support, the next likely place for price to go is going to be the POC. The POC is the midpoint of your range, right? The 3 levels, you have the value area high, the POC, and the value area low. The POC is the point of control. This is the area where the most volume was transacted, making it the strongest magnet within the profile. So basically the way we trade these is you go below the low. Once you reclaim, next likely place for price to go is the POC. Once you flip the POC, you look to go to the value area high. And this is the bread and butter of my trading strategy. Personally, it's not as easy as just waiting for a dip below. It's a little bit more intricate than that, but in a simple terms, you wait for the deviation, you look for longs. Once you get above the low, you look to fill that profile in full, understanding that this is your first key level of resistance. Once you get above that, very high probability you fill the range in full. Then you deviate above. Once you get back into the range, you look to go to the POC and then the value area low, get back above, so on and so forth, right? We could show this on a million different time frames. We could show this on any time frame, any asset that I have charted. We make money trading this strategy constantly, right? We look for longs down here. This is cheap, right? The idea here is if this is a cheap asset, it's probably, you're going to want to buy it, right? You're going to want to buy it if you know that this thing has been trading normally in between these 2 levels for a long time. If you deviate below, it's cheap. Why don't you buy some? Because there's chances are if you get back into this range, you're going to go back to the fair value, which is inside the range, more specifically the POC of the range, right? And then once you flip the POC, you look to go to the value area high. And you can see how this works, right? Dip below the low, flip it to support. If I go to a lower time frame, you could probably see the flip of support. Next stop, POC. Flip the POC, next stop. Excuse me, it's oftentimes a journey, but next stop, value area high. Then you deviate above the value area high. This is where you probably want to start hunting for shorts. And as a matter of fact, you could even pull a new volume profile. This is what we were doing in the premium Discord. We absolutely destroyed long here, short here, long here, short here, long here, short here, long here, short here, right? We crushed this little mini volume profile as we went sideways. But in general, on the bigger profile, you would want to be looking for shorts on the deviation above in anticipation of potentially coming back into your range, getting stuck, going to the POC, going to the low. And it's not 100%, right? Like I said, nothing's going to be 100% in trading. You can see here we lost the value area high. We almost made it to the POC. Actually, at the time, this might have been the POC. Let me see. POCs are goated if that's the case. I'm just chilling here, guys. We're just rocking. No dinner for me tonight. It was, right? Your PLC moved up, right? So you did go to your PLC at the time, but now the point of control has moved because the way this works is it is taking the volume transacted over all these candles and then plotting. So this value area is marking out where 70% of the volume was transacted, right? So most of the volume was traded in here, giving you your fair value. We call this the hot dog formation. And then when you deviate above, you look for shorts. Deviate below, you look for longs, shorts, longs, shorts, right? It's obviously more involved trying to find the entries and stuff, but that's the gist of it, right? So the simple answer, the point of control, is the POC is the point of control, which is the area within the profile that had the most volume transacted, right? You could see that by the high volume node. So there you go. Where do you get the volume profile? It's free on TradingView. It's free on TradingView. You could also check out my indicator, which is free, by the way, Frankie Candles Essentials. This indicator is really cool. It's by Lux Algo. Shout out to Lux Algo. Check them out. They have they have so many free indicators, and they also have beautiful, beautiful paid indicators that I absolutely love. I didn't pull them up today, but if you pull this up, this is 100% free. No strings attached, no email, no none of that garbage. Just go to TradingView, type in my name, Frankie Candles. You'll see Frankie Candles Essentials by Lux Algo. And this is essentially just a fixed range volume profile. That's what you want to use, right? If you want it on TradingView, you would come down to this tool right here, which is forecasting and measurement tools, fixed range volume profile. You select an area on the chart. Go watch the videos in the beginner series. I show you exactly how to do this, but essentially I just select ranging price action, and that gives you your volume profile. And you can even see here, right? This is pretty much the same range, but deviate above, back to the low, low, back to the high, high, back to the low, back to the POC, and then you see money flow coming out, and you look for the breakdown. That's what we had. But that's how you could do this. Go watch my video in the beginner series. I show you how to set up your settings because your profile will look different. You need my settings or the settings that you need for the actual range. So Tony D, if you could drop that video. Is Tony D here? Tony D is here. Yeah, shout out. Okay, drop the other link. So if you could drop the volume profile tutorial too, check it out, guys. It's the best trading tool you could possibly use, and it's free. I have nothing to shill here. We have paid indicators that you could use as well, that we can use as well. But this is totally free, and there's free value on this YouTube channel. It's a free trading course, essentially. You can learn everything you need to know to get started on this channel for free before you spend any money. Free indicator, and if you want to use mine is a fixed range volume profile. It just has some added sauce to it, so it's actually pretty cool. A lot of people love it. We already got 2.6 people using it. But it's the same thing. You would select one area on the chart, select that sideways range, and you actually get signals. Not signals. You don't want to trade them as signals. I don't want to call them signals. But you get some extra bells and whistles here, right? A little bit of extra sauce. Number one, you have automatic populating Fibonacci retracements, right? So it'll automatically pull your fibs. I personally, I pull my own fibs, but it is nice. You don't have to question where your fibs are being pulled. You could just have them do it automatically. But another thing that this does is it gives you the fixed range volume profile, just like we had before. But this will actually give you these sauce can emojis and mark out divergences, right? So anytime you deviate above a volume profile, right, you might say like, well, what am I looking at to take a short? Well, me personally, one of the big things that I look for are bearish divergences, money flow coming out. There's many things that we look at, but this indicator will tell you when you're deviating above a volume profile, when you might have a bearish divergence, and then this sauce can is letting you know that it's, hey, you're deviating outside of your range. This could be an expensive asset. You have a bearish divergence. Maybe time to look for a short back to the downside, and then the hope would be that you get accepted back into your range, go to the POC, and go to the low. People love this. I have a video on the channel explaining exactly how to use this as well. So go check it out. It's 100% free. I have nothing to sell you here. So there you go. Right, you even got 3 drives of bullish divergence down here on your, which was the macro golden pocket, right? So if you were looking at this in terms of your volume profile, right, from the high to the low, you come into your golden pocket, 3 drives of bullish divergence. You see this marked out by the line. So if you don't know what you're looking at for divergences, this will just mark them out for you, right? It's not as easy as just like seeing a divergence and longing, right? Like you would long here on this divergence, get stopped out, and then we would eventually pay it out, right? But you get the sauce. Once you start to see these sauce cans, it's not a buy and sell signal, but you don't want to trade it like that, but you could think of it as like, hey, I'm getting sauce cans. That means we're outside the value area with bullish confirmation. Maybe it's time to start looking for a long, right? And again, I have tutorials. You got to spend some time to learn, but check out the channel, watch all the videos, and it's 100% free. Shout out to J. Kim, said, put it on slow down speed 2x. Shout out to J. Kim. Let's see. Straight to 1 million. Shout out to Paper Beats Rock. Let's go. There's no such thing as free lunch. Shout out to Crespo Crypto. But yeah, that's what we're looking at, guys. Can we change them from sauce cans to juice boxes? I don't think so. Maybe. I don't know. Maybe if you know how to like go into the back end and switch it up, maybe. I don't think so. You can turn them on and off, though. And it also pulls up hidden divergences as well, if you're into that kind of thing. But yeah, that's, and then, like even here, right? Like what happened here, I know why this sauce can is printing. It actually, the divergence didn't even print because there's probably not enough candles in between, but lower lows on our price action, higher lows on our momentum waves, sauce can, That gives you a bullish divergence. This is letting you know that that bullish signal is happening outside of your value area. It might be a good time to look for a long, back to the POC, back to the value area high. And again, deviate above, might be a good time to look for a short, back into the range, back to the POC, back to the low. And again, I will say this till I've run out of breath. You do not want to trade those as buy and sell signals. There is nothing that will ever just be able to pop up on a chart and you're going to be able to buy and sell based off it and make $1 million. If anybody's telling you that, they're trying to sell you a get-rich-quick scheme. They're lying to you. They're trying to get your money. I'm giving you the reality of trading. You could definitely get rich trading. You could definitely make money trading. If you watch this channel, you know that's a fact. We do it here every single day. But it takes hard work. It takes dedication. And you got to be willing to put that work in, right? You're not going to make more money than a brain surgeon. I don't know what makes people think that you're going to make more money than a brain surgeon with little to no work by watching one tutorial or spending 5 minutes learning how to chart. The truth is a majority of people don't have the persistence or the perseverance or the grit to make it through a trading journey to come out on the better side. But if you stick through it and you don't give up and you learn from your mistakes and you keep fixing your mistakes, you will wind up on the other end, guys. I am an example of it. It's crazy. I say this all the time. I've blown up more accounts than anybody I've ever met. I learned the hard way. I'm a thick-headed Sicilian. I had to touch the hot stove 100 times before I learned. I literally started using stop losses and actually taking profit off the table because I got bored of getting wrecked. Not because it was painful. I didn't even feel the pain. I didn't care about the pain. I was just frustrated and just kept pushing through it and like, that's it. I'm going to revenge trade. I'm going to revenge trade. I'm going to revenge trade. And then eventually I just got bored. I'm like, okay, it's been like 2 years and this is just not working, right? And then that's where the light switch flicked. And I started actually trying to go by a real strategy, really taking money off the table, even if I wasn't getting rich overnight. And then over time, you will grow your account. And there's ways to get more funding, guys. You got a lot of ways that you can get more capital. But yeah, just you have to focus on the skill of trading. If you want to get into trading and you think you're going to get rich in 3 months, I would obviously recommend just changing your mindset and just going in and learning this, like, and going hardcore because it'll change your life. But if you really don't want to put in the work or you just want to like think you're going to make a ton of money in 2 months, 3 months, 4 months, 5 months, and you're not willing to learn from mistakes and give up some money learning and losing money in the market, then it might not be for you, right? I don't want to lead anybody in the wrong direction, but I am proof, guys, that you could come out on the other side of this. And let's see. Frankie Sizzlehands. Shout out to Paper Beats Rock. Rock, paper, scissors, sizzle hand. Shout out to Paper Beats Rock. What are different ways to get more capital without leverage? Shout out to Sapien Plays. Shout out to you, bro. There's a bunch of ways to do it. I wouldn't recommend don't take out loans, don't borrow money from a friend, but you could use things like prop firms and yeah, we might talk about that a little bit further down the road. But there's many things, right? Like there's tons of things that I did not have at my I didn't have when I was learning how to trade, right? Like prop firms weren't a thing. I don't even think Discords were that popular, or as popular as they are now that we live like we are just terminally on the internet now. Shout out to Dave Digital said, warning, to be a trader, you may end up in the dang gym. Yeah, shout out to Dave Digital. Let's go, baby. Is Jim Cramer legit? Shout out to Native Faith. I'll be honest. My opinion on Jim Cramer is, I like to call him James. But yeah, listen, I think he gets, I'm not going to lie. Every time he comes out bullish on crypto, it dumps. It's almost like he's the perfect reverse indicator. But I'll be honest, guys, I've watched interviews of people who have worked with Jim Cramer, and they all talk really highly of him. They're like, yeah, it's everyone uses them as a reverse indicator, but Jim actually knows what he's doing and stuff. So I feel bad. I mean, that guy's been on TV forever making calls, and you're gonna be wrong sometimes. And when you're going out to the masses like that, especially on TV, most people just want to know if it's going up or going down. And if you say that you think it's going up and they buy it and lose money, they're gonna come after you, right? Because no one wants to take responsibility for their own financial loss. It's so much easier and more. It's easier for people to palate to just put that blame on somebody else. If you've ever had friends in crypto, you've ever tried to get your friends into crypto and say, oh, I'm going to buy this coin, I think it's going to go up, and then they buy it and lose all their money and they get mad at you, that's their fault, not your fault, right? You have to make your own financial decisions, right? If Tony D said, yo, buy Pigeon coin, it's going to 10x, and I just bought it with not just assuming it's going to go up because he said so and I lost my money, that's on me, guys, right? Like I said, I forgot the other day. Same thing with trading, right? People think trading's a scam, but they're just, if you take full responsibility, you have to be intensely responsible, right? You have to put the blame on yourself 100% of the time, especially if you want to be a trader, because most people think they have to go to a new strategy. If their strategy doesn't work, they have to change a new strategy, right? Then they try that strategy. It starts to work. Then it stops working. They're like, I got to go to a different strategy. When 9 out of 10 times, guys, there's 100 really good strategies out there, and most of them have enough of an edge to make people profitable. What they really should be doing is reanalyzing what they are doing wrong, right? The other day, I thought I had a stop loss set. I didn't double check it before I walked away. And thank God I wound up closing that trade for like $2K in profit. But I took the trade. I went on stream. I thought the stop loss was set. I went to eat dinner and we dumped. And I was down like 5K unrealized. And if Bitcoin decided to nuke to 75 to 76K that night, I would have lost like 15 grand. Now, am I like, oh, the exchange took my stop loss off, like, or, oh, this exchange scammed me or anything like that? Absolutely not, right? I take full accountability. Even if it did glitch and the stop loss did disappear and it wasn't my fault, I would just still take responsibility for that, right? That way, even if it glitches again, now I'm just more inclined to check my stop loss 2 times before I leave the desk, right? Or double check all of my trades before I leave the desk. And then if the exchange glitches and I check it, I'm like, oh, wow, and at the end of the day, guys, 99% of the times, it's because you forgot. So I just assume I forgot. I did get lucky there. I wound up closing the trade in profit, thank God. But I wouldn't. If I lost that 15K, was I going to be mad at the exchange? Was I going to be mad at the setup? Was I going to be mad at anything else other than myself? Absolutely not. And I think that's what helps, propel me to be a consistent trader, right? Because I'm not blaming someone. Not that I would ever take anyone's call, but if someone came in and say, yo, long 100X on this level here, and I just blindly did it and lost the trade, I would not be mad at them, right? Like you have to do your own research. If I disagreed, I would have went short, right? But if you just want to take signals, that's why I would never run a signals group. It's just like, what's your age? Shout out to Zia. What do you think my age is, Zia? I'm 32. Do I look older or younger? Don't answer that, guys. Don't answer that. What's my risk management like? I don't use risk management. I just full port, and if I get liquidated, I get liquidated. No, I'm just kidding. I only really risk. It depends, guys, because I have many different accounts. For the most part, I like to risk 1 to 2% of my account, right? So on any given trade, I only lose 1 to 2%, right? Whether I'm on 100x or 50x or 2x leverage, I am typically only getting stopped out for 1 to 2% of my account. That doesn't mean that so to explain this, if I had a $100 account, I wouldn't just if I had a $100 account, that doesn't mean, right, 1% of 100 is 1. That doesn't mean I would only put $1 on each trade. You could put all your money on the trade as long as your stop loss only limits you to losing 1 to 2% of your account, right? So that's simply what my risk management is. But it changes. Sometimes I put on more risk if I feel good about the trade. And then, it depends. Like sometimes we make content and stuff that it does change stuff a lot. But like on my real accounts, like my actual like accounts that I care about, 1 to 2%. And if you think of it this way, right? If you risk 1% on your account, right, as a beginner, that's what I recommend. If you put 1% risk on each trade, right, meaning when you get stopped out, you only lose $1 out of your $100 account. If you set your stop loss and your exchange tells you you're going to lose $50 if you get stopped out, you are not using good risk management. If you have a $100 account, that means you're risking 50% of your account. That means you lose 2 trades, you're done. If you risk 1% of your account, you will literally need to lose like 99 trades in a row to blow up your entire account. Think about the confidence that gives you. Because you could have the most garbage strategy, right? And you have 99 trades to blow up the account. Right? And again, with a $100 account, that's why I always say, like, don't focus on getting rich. And if you want to make money trading, I mean, really make money trading. If you want to really do this and you want to quit your job one day and work for yourself and trade wherever you want and whenever you want, you have to understand that you're not going to get rich overnight. It's just not the fact. It's not the truth, right? If you see someone telling you that, they're probably trying to sell you something. And I'm not saying we don't sell anything. I have a Discord. We probably will have a course at some point. But I'm not going to just shill it on everybody, right? I'm not going to sell my Discord to someone who just started trading because you're probably going to be lost. Go through the YouTube channel and go through my free trading stuff on YouTube. And then when you start to understand, you put in the work and you watch the live streams and you start to get it, like so many of the Mafia members in the chat right now. Once you get there, that's where you'd be like, I think I'm ready to take my trading to the next level, get into the premium live streams, start looking at the setups, and really take it seriously. That's the route I would go. But you have to understand, master the skill of trading, master the skill of managing risk. Even if you're making $5 profit, it's not going to change your life. But if you have a $100 account and you make $5, that's 5% on your account. If you have a $100,000 account, 5% is $5K. If you make $5K a day, you're making pretty good money. Right? So focus on the skill, focus on the TA. The money will come later. Don't chase the money. It will run for you. Run from you. That's my 2 cents. But guys, With all that being said, that's all the time I got. This is absolutely tremendous advice. Shout out to Brandon. Yeah, I mean, that's why I'm here. I'm here every day. We talk about this stuff every single day. If you're new here, smash that like button, subscribe to the channel, turn on notification bells. We do live TA for 2 hours. In this case, 3 hours. But yeah, we get the live TA every single day. Like I said, YouTube channel is a completely free trading course, essentially. You just got to put in the work and do the do the work and, have the grit. But, yeah, we'll see what happens with Bitcoin, guys. Hopefully we can continue to bounce, but just watch that 30-minute money flow. If we continue to dump, you guys know what we were looking at here. And if you just tuned in, go to the beginning of the stream. We called this move live, and we didn't even know the news was coming. Show me the charts. I'll tell you the news. Get in there. Do some work. Just get off this stream. Go watch the tutorial videos and take notes. Take notes. You're not going to watch a 5-minute video and get rich. Take notes. Watch it twice. Watch it 3 times. Go on bar replay mode in TradingView. Backtest. That's all I got, guys. I'll see you tomorrow. Same place, same time, right here, 5:45 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Shout out to K Diggity. Shout out to Henny. Shout out to Jesse the Light Police. Wick 589, OG of the Candle Mafia. Jedi Skirk, American Gunners. You the GOAT. Shout out to you, bro. I appreciate you so much. Shout out to Temp, Eugene Sky. Thank you guys for being here. I appreciate you guys genuinely from the bottom of my heart. I'll see you tomorrow. Hasta pasta. Bing bong.
Yeah. Head up in the clouds, dog, they saying I look stressed. I've been feeling down, pray to God that I'm up next. Remember when she blew me off, that's why I can't text. Now she call me petty, but I swear I can't forget. This ain't a test. Now they saying that I ball like Jerry West. Coming back for what is mine, can't take no less. I said go and take a shot, so I need your best. And stop the threats, so nobody's into me. I don't got time, I'm not giving the energy. Too many people around me, I'm finicky. I do not mess with you, dog, you're not kidding me. You don't got way too close. I've been up at the top now, so they all wait for the landslide. I seen too many people that switched up, whose man's high. Through it all, I stay the same, I swear to God, I can't lie. Been down so damn low that I came up for my life. They talk way too much on the internet, it's not real life. I swear my fam waiting, I can't lose, and I'm still right. Still right, I swear that I'm working them up till like midnight. It's real life, I got a time and I'm coming to get mine. In time, I cannot lose and I'm coming right inside. I'm in my, yeah.
I'm not going to lie. I was going to show the hair, guys, but I took the hat off, and it's just destroyed under this hat. Maybe I'll go no hat tomorrow if we go live during the day or something. Maybe I'll show the hair. But by the way, guys, thank you for 1,000 likes. We're going to be giving away $350 in Solana. Thank you for smashing that like button, and we'll be doing that giveaway tomorrow. So shout out to the Candle Mafia. Thank you guys for being here. I'll see you tomorrow. Pray for Bitcoin. Hopefully this was just a little liquidation grab, but remember, that money flow ain't looking too good. So I'll see you guys tomorrow. We'll check in, and have a great night. Hasta pasta. Frankie Candles out. Bing bong!
Here we go, at the top of the class on a roll, and it's time to run it up, yeah you know. Maxed out, put the pedal to the floor, ayy, on the road, here we go, yeah we winning by a landslide. Never see me coming on my landmine. Yeah, I ain't taking orders in command like. Yeah, you about to see me on demand like. You know on demand. If you ain't know, you about to understand. Yeah, I got the team by my side, right hand. Yeah, take it to a string, you ain't seen it like that. Yeah, and it's the dream, and we coming for the bag. Yeah, and we ain't never going back now. Future expedited, now we on the fast track now. They won't lend a hand, now they see us on the map now. It's time to act out. Here we go, at the top of the class on a roll, and it's time to run it up, yeah you know. Maxed out, put the pedal to the floor, ayy, on the road, here we go, yeah. At the top of the class on a roll, ayy, and it's time to run it up, yeah you know, yeah. Maxed out, put the pedal to the floor, yeah, on the road, here we go, here we go.
we go. At the top of the class on a roll. And it's time to run it up, yeah, you know. Maxed out, put the pedal to the floor. Hey, on a roll, here we go, yeah. At the top of the class on a roll. Hey, and it's time to